Chapter 222. Su Guofeng was surprised. Song Shikang and his wife discussed ways to oust Song Qingxuan, and they even thought about getting rid of Song Shiais in the future. Song Qingxuan still thought that his second elder brother was a very nice person. If he kept thinking like that, he would suffer greatly. Song Shiais and Song Shikang were brothers. After Song Lao was gone, Song Shikang would use some tricks to get Song Shiais to oust Song Qingxuan. If Song Shiai stands together with Song Shikang, Song Qingxuan will definitely not be able to compete with them. He has the best relationship with Song Qingxuan, and the attitude of the Song family will be hard to predict. If he wants the Wu family to fall and Wu Yangqing to go in, he absolutely cannot let this happen. Lin Xiao, Su Xiong, this is President Yao. Mr. Yao, Lin Xiao is my benefactor. Mr. Su, you should have heard of her. She is young but controls the Su group, which is still developing very well. Song Qingxuan helped Lin Chen and the others get to know a bunch of big shots. Most of the big shots Lin Chen and the others got to know through him actually have less assets than the Su family, and some families don't even have as much as Lin Chen. But their status is quite high. Some of them control state-owned enterprises worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Some hold high official positions and wield great power. The Su family has shallow roots, and it was not easy to make friends with them in the past. Even if Su Guofeng dines and drinks with them, everyone is likely to just maintain superficial courtesy. The higher up you go, the fewer positions there are. Everyone will instinctively reject the people below them. This is human nature. The situation is different with the help of the Song family. The Song family is a top family with a deep foundation. With the Song family's endorsement, the Su family can become part of the inner circle. Once you become part of the inner circle, it's not so easy to be rejected. Of course, with the current economic situation in China, the inner circle is also very competitive, and some people will be eliminated. If you don't want to be eliminated, it still depends on your own strength. Honey, my parents are here. Su Mengyao whispered. She saw that her parents had come with a lot of people, some of whom had a much higher net worth than Su Guofeng. President Su, President Wang, President Liu. Song Shiais warmly greeted them. He shook hands with each one, starting with Su Guofeng. This surprised the rest of the people a little. At least 3 of them were more important than Su Guofeng. Song Shiai shook hands with Su Guofeng first. Don't underestimate this. Although the core of the Song family is still Song Lao, Song Shiai is already the head of the family and handles many things in the Song family. How could he make such a mistake? Who you shake hands with first represents the attitude of the Song family. Behind the attitude are interests. If a project can benefit both the Su family and others, the likelihood that the Su family will get the project is likely to be higher with the Song family's attitude. Perhaps there is not much difference in one project, but the difference may be very significant when adding up many projects. Lin Xiao, wait a moment. He also went over and was the first to shake Su Guofeng's hand. What's going on? Everyone's expression remained unchanged, but they were all surprised in their hearts. Song Qingxuan's attitude towards Su Guofeng was even more warm and friendly. He and Song Shiais both did the same, and the Song family's attitude was obvious. Dad, Mom. Lin Chen and Su Mengyao walked over. Yang Qingyue said doubtfully, where's Cici? There are so many people here today, don't lose Cici. Su Mengyao, Mom, how is that possible? Cici is in the courtyard of the Song family, where she is playing with a few other children. The nanny is watching them in the Song courtyard. That's good. Yang Qingyue said. Su Guofeng, honey, you're worrying for nothing. Even if Mengyao is careless, Lin Chen won't be. He is much more careful with Cici than we are. Lin Chen and the others left the rest of the group while they were talking. Lin Chen, what's going on? The Song family is being a little too nice to us. Su Guofeng asked with some confusion. Even if Lin Chen can help Song Wan, to the entire Song family, Song Wan is only a junior from the 3rd generation, and she can still sway the attitude of the entire Song family? Lin Chen, Song Shiais knows that I am Lin Yu, and so does Elder Song. I also gave Elder Song a piece of calligraphy. Su Guofeng nodded. That makes sense. Song Shiais is very polite to him because of Lin Chen's face. Lin Yu's calligraphy realm is extremely high, and with this, Lin Yu can speak to the bigwigs in the upper echelons. Lin Chen is Lin Yu, and his weight is different. Moreover, Lin Chen also gave Song Lao calligraphy. Hubby, you chat with Lin. Meng Yao, let's go talk to some people. Yang Qingyue said. Okay. Su Guofeng nodded. Yang Qingyue and Su Mengyao walked away, and Lin Chen said, Dad, let's walk around a bit, let's go outside and take a look around. Su Guofeng's heart stirred. Lin Chen seemed to want to say something to him. The two of them went outside, farther away from the rest of the people. Lin Chen said, Dad, Song Laoshi has less than a month to live. Song Shikang wanted to first join forces with Song Shiais to oust Song Qingxuan, and then the couple would target Song Shiais. Su Guofeng's face changed slightly. Are you sure that Song Laoshi's time is running out? Did Song Qingxuan and you tell Song Shikang about this plan? Lin Chen, Song Laoshi doesn't have a major illness, but he is running out of time. In 20 days at the shortest, and no more than a month at the longest, Song Laoshi will pass away. I heard Song Shikang's plan when he and his wife whispered about it, and my ears were sharp enough to hear. If Song Shikang takes control of the Song family, the Wu family may be able to turn their fortunes around. Su Guofeng said, not only that. A change in attitude by the Song family will affect the interests of the Su group. If the Song family shows a friendly attitude, we will benefit more. If the attitude is cold, our business will be worse than it is today, and the difference between the two is quite large. Lin Chen, Dad, is there such a big difference between the Su and Song families? Su Guofeng nodded. The Song family has assets at home and abroad, which I estimate to be worth 200 to 300 billion yuan. But the gap in assets is the smallest between the Su and Song families, and the gap in background is even greater. Background is something that is accumulated bit by bit. Su Guofeng smiled when he heard this, you are the exception. Lin Chen muttered to himself, he is really annoying. If he still has to accumulate slowly, wouldn't it be a waste of the system? Dad, what do you think of this Song family matter? Lin Chen asked. Although he has a variety of skills, Su Guofeng is much more experienced when it comes to handling this kind of thing. Su Guofeng, the three brothers have a good relationship. If you just come out and say it, Song Qingxuan may not believe you, and he may even blame you for driving a wedge between them. Don't worry. Wait until he trusts you a little more. Lin Chen, what about Song Lao? Su Guofeng thought for a moment and said, don't tell old Song. Many old people say they are not afraid of death, but they are still afraid inside. If you mention it, old Song might leave even earlier. You can find an opportunity to talk to Song Qingxuan and the others. Lin Chen nodded slightly. Su Guofeng, don't think about that now, old Song is out. I think some of the top bigwigs will be here soon. Lin Chen looked in the direction Su Guofeng was looking. Old Song was supported by Song Shikang as he walked out. Chapter 223, Everyone, Lin Chen is Lin Yu. Soon, a Hongqi sedan drove up. The car stopped smoothly, and Song Shiais walked up to open the door. An elderly man in his 70s got out of the car. Lin Chen's eyes flashed with surprise. He had seen this elderly man on TV before, and he used to see him a lot, but now he sees him less and less, but occasionally he can still see him. Happy birthday, brother Song. The elderly man said with a smile to Song Lao. The Song family was very powerful when he was not yet in power, and he received a lot of help from the Song family, so the relationship was naturally very good. Another year older. My health is getting worse every year, but you are still doing well. You look much healthier than I do. Song Lao and the old man shook hands cordially and exchanged pleasantries. Before they finished their pleasantries, another car arrived, and an elderly man who looked slightly older came over. This old man used to appear on TV a lot. He has now retired, but as long as he is alive, he still has influence. Old Song. Brotherly. This old man got out of the car and greeted. It seems that they had an appointment, as several old men came in just 10 minutes, and they were all very powerful. If the Su family did not have the anomaly of Lin Chen, it would be difficult to develop normally even if it repeated for another 30 years. Dad, the Song family is indeed very powerful. Lin Chen whispered. Su Guofeng said, don't look at some people, their assets may seem higher than the entire Song family, but their influence in Huagua may not be as great as the Song family. Are they backed by international capital? Yes. Su Guofeng nodded, they are backed by international capital giants, but in Huagua, international capital giants often have to bow their heads. You should be able to understand this if you watch the news. Lin Chen nodded lightly. Some of these big shots were very active in the past, but now they are all low-key. Everyone, it's hot outside. Let's go inside and enjoy ourselves later. Song Lao smiled and said. The guests have already arrived. Soon everyone arrived inside the manor. Dozens of tables were set up in the huge banquet hall, but the bigwigs didn't sit in the hall. They went to a small hall. There was a large round table in the small hall. This table can seat a dozen or so people. Old friends, I can't drink now. Shiais and the others are at another table. How about I ask a very interesting young man to drink with you? He can definitely keep you company. Song Lao smiled and said. The guest follows the host's wishes. Song Lao, you arrange it. Song Lao, it's your birthday, you're the oldest. The crowd laughed. Song Laosher quickly instructed Song Shiais, who was by his side, Shiais, go find Lin Chen. He can drink a lot, so let him come and drink with us old folks. Oh, and say sorry to his father-in-law. Song Shiais nodded. He quickly went outside and found Lin Chen. Lin Chen and Su Mengyao had already carried Lin Xiaoqian out. Lin Xiao, I have a humble request. Could you please go into that room and drink with my father and the others? How about you drink with my father and I drink with your father? Song Shiais said with a smile. Lin Chen's eyes revealed a look of surprise. He went inside? Everyone in there is a big shot. Any one of them is much higher in status than Su Guofeng. Did Mr. Song say that? Lin Chen asked. Song Shiais nodded. Yes, my father wants to invite you in. Mr. Su, is it okay to borrow your husband for a while? No problem. Su Mengyao quickly said. It's a rare opportunity to drink with those bigwigs. Lin Xiaoqian kissed Lin Chen. Dad, don't get drunk, your head will hurt if you get drunk. Okay. Lin Chen also kissed Lin Xiaoqian. It is impossible to get drunk. In the past, he could drink 12 or 13 gin of wine, and now his constitution has improved a lot, and he also has internal strength. Cici, come, let mommy hug you. Su Mengyao hugged Lin Xiaoxi, and Lin Chen walked towards the small hall, while Song Shiais walked towards Su Guofeng's table. Su Guofeng's table was actually also full of big shots. None of their statuses were lower than Su Guofeng's. Su Guofeng is Lin Chen's father-in-law. Lin Chen went in, and Su Guofeng stayed outside. Song Shiais definitely had to talk to him. President Su, Lin Xiao has a very good drinking capacity. My father asked Lin Xiao to go in and drink with him. You don't have such a good drinking capacity. My father didn't invite you in, so please don't be offended. Song Shiais said to Su Guofeng. Su Guofeng hurriedly said, I don't mind. My drinking capacity is such that if I go in standing, I'll definitely come out lying down. Song Shiais laughed and said, inside, everyone has to drink a toast to each other, and after one round, I'll have to lie down. If I don't have enough alcohol tolerance, I can only drink outside. Everyone at the table muttered to themselves. Is this a problem with alcohol tolerance? Without enough alcohol tolerance, no matter how good your tolerance is, you're not qualified to go in. Their gaze towards Su Guofeng changed once again. Lin Chen soon arrived in the small hall. Hello, everyone. Lin Chen greeted them with a smile. The room was full of big shots, but Lin Chen was not fazed. In his field of expertise, was he not also a big shot? And his field of expertise was not just one or two. Everyone looked at Lin Chen. They were all quite surprised. Lin Chen was too young. Song Lao had just said to find a young man to accompany them in drinking, and they had thought that the other person would at least be in their 30s or 40s. They had never expected that the person Song Lao had found would be in his 20s. Lin Chen, let me introduce you to everyone? Don't worry, they won't blabber once they know. Song Lao asked with a smile. Lin Chen nodded. Song Lao said, old friends, don't look at Lin Chen as young. 1,000 years from now, no one is expected to remember us, but 1,000 years from now, someone will definitely remember Lin Chen. His pen name is Lin Yu. He is known as Master Lin on the internet. Everyone looked at Lin Chen in amazement. Lin Chen, are you really Lin Yu? My granddaughter really likes the fairy tales written by Lin Yu. Lin Chen nodded, yes, I am Lin Yu. I hope that you seniors can keep this a secret for me. My daughter is still very young, and now my main focus is on bringing her up well. I owe her a lot. Another big shot laughed, Lin Chen, you have a lot of fans. If this comes to light, it will be a bit of a problem. You could even be recognized if you wear a mask when you go out. Don't worry, we'll keep your secret. Song Lao smiled and said, old buddies, Lin Chen is a great guy, and he will definitely be able to keep you company well. After you've taken care of you, you'll have to take care of Lin Chen a little bit. This is probably the last time I'll drink with you, so I hope you can agree to this small request. Everyone, including Lin Chen, looked at Lao Song in surprise. Lao Song actually didn't ask them to take care of the Song family, but to take care of Lin Chen. Today is his 80th birthday, and his words carry a lot of weight. Lao Song, you're still cunning. Someone quickly woke up and said. Brother Song, don't talk nonsense, what last time? Brother Song, don't worry. The crowd spoke up one after the other. Lin Chen quickly realized it as well. Old Song always feels that his achievements will be very high, and this is a way out for the Song family. Now that he is helping Lin Chen, if the Song family is in trouble in the future, Lin Chen will also help. Old Song, thank you. Lin Chen said. Even if Old Song is thinking about the future of the Song family, it is also true that Old Song is now using his personal favor to help him pave the way. Chapter 224, Shock of the Bigwigs. In the hotel, Wu Yangqing's phone rang. Someone had sent him a message. President Wu, Lin Chen went into the small hall to eat, and he accompanied the Song family, as well as the Li family and other bigwigs, drinking. You should know very well what this means. Wu Yangqing's face changed when he saw the message. He couldn't go abroad. He didn't go to the airport. He went to the hotel, still thinking about finding another opportunity to communicate with the Song family, even if he had to sell some of his shares at a low price. What could he do now? The Song family was essentially telling everyone that the Song family and Lin Chen were now standing together, and even if he gave away his shares for free, the Song family would not be able to support him in return. In addition, why did the Song family do this? If Lin Chen didn't have a strong enough background, how would Song Lao let Lin Chen enter the small hall and drink with those bigwigs? Even if it's just drinking company, not just anyone can do it. It's over, completely over. Once this spreads, I'm afraid I'll have to go to jail for another year or two. Wu Yangqing's face was extremely ugly. The law is not completely dead, there is a certain amount of room for it to rise or fall. In his situation, he will definitely be heavily sentenced, 10 years is probably the lightest. Even if the Song family didn't help, he could still run around and try to smooth things over, but now he can forget about that. Who would offend a group of big shots for him? Resist strictly, confess leniently. These words suddenly popped into Wu Yangqing's head. If he turned himself in, he could reduce his sentence. But if he did, he would go to jail soon. If he didn't turn himself in, he could still be out for a while, and he could still enjoy his freedom. The banquet was gradually coming to an end. Lin Chen had conscientiously done his job of accompanying the drinks. Although he was very good at what he did, he was not arrogant, which would be a very foolish thing to do. No one bothered their table from beginning to end. There were no toasts. It wasn't that those people didn't want to, but there were many big shots at Lin Chen's table, and it wasn't appropriate for them to come in and bother one by one. Lin Chen, at work and in life, is there anything you need help with from us old folks? If so, you can mention it now. We'll help you solve it on the spot. One of Lin Chen's big bosses said with a rosy complexion. Yes, Lin Chen, with a talent like yours, it's not considered taking advantage of your position to offer you some help. Another big boss said. The other big bosses also spoke up one after the other. Lin Chen smiled and said, Dear seniors, I don't need to trouble you for the time being. But I have a request, can I add you as a friend? Your request is really simple. This is possible. The crowd said with smiles. The bigwigs all had WeChat, and they needed to contact their families, so Lin Chen added them as personal WeChat contacts one by one. If Lin Chen wasn't amazing himself, even if he had the support of Song Lao, they would just give Lin Chen a call, and they might not be willing to add Lin Chen as a personal WeChat contact. Now they are all very happy. Song Laoren can see that Lin Chen's future is very bright, and they can also see that maintaining a good relationship with Lin Chen may be beneficial to their family in the future. They are not low-status people now. But the youngest of them is approaching 70 years old, and within the next 10 to 20 years, they may all have to go one after the other. Lin Chen is very young, and he still has decades to live. Lin Chen has a strong network now, but what about the future? Lin Chen is not even a potential stock, but a demon stock. How could they miss the opportunity to lay out the demon stock in advance? Brother Song, let's have one last drink and wish you a happy birthday. Then we all have to leave, some of us have some things to do in the afternoon. A big man raised his glass and said. Song Lao smiled and said, no problem. Lin Chen, I'll have a small glass, should be fine, right? Lin Chen looked at Lao Song and nodded slightly. Lao Song's health was poor, but a small glass of wine was no problem. Soon Lin Chen and the others had all drunk a small glass of wine. Why did Lao Song ask Lin Chen? Someone said in surprise. Lao Song looked at Lin Chen. Lin Chen, you tell me yourself. Lin Chen said, Lao Zhang, I know a little about medicine. I have previously taken Lao Song's pulse and examined him. The Zhang elders looked at Lin Chen in surprise. If someone says they know a little, I guess they don't know much. Lin Xiaolin said he knows a little, and I guess his level is very high. That's right, if he wasn't good, he would have just said he didn't know. The two elders spoke. Lao Zhang laughed and asked, what are you guessing? Lin Xiaolin is right here, so let's just ask him directly, shall we? Lin Xiaolin, just how strong is your medical skill? Everyone looked at Lin Chen waiting for him to answer. Lin Chen coughed lightly, top 10 in the country. With the medical conditions you are enjoying, you shouldn't need me to examine you for the time being. The old Zhang and the others looked at Lin Chen in shock. Lin Chen said top 10 in the country, and they believed it. There was no need to lie about the level of Lin Chen's calligraphy, which was much worse than his calligraphy. The old song exclaimed in awe, Lin Xiao, you are really amazing. Should I still call you Master Lin as before? Lin Xiao, shall we also call you Master Lin? Old Zhang joked. Lin Chen hurriedly said, Old Song, Old Zhang, please don't call me that. You calling me Master Lin makes me old, and I don't want my identity exposed. Some time ago I became slightly famous, and there were a bunch of people downstairs. I could only take Cici out and hide for a few days. Old Zhang and the others nodded. Then let's just call you Lin Xiaolin, as if you were an old man. Lin Xiaolin, is there still room for improvement in your medical skills? Old Li asked. Lin Chen nodded, there should be. Another big shot asked curiously, Lin Xiaolin, how long do you think it will take for your medical skills to become the best in the country? This made Lin Chen hesitate a little. 3 to 5 years should be fine. In reality, it would take much less than that. His ancient medical skills are now at the master level, and his Western medicine skills are now at the Grandmaster level. Even if Lin Xiaoxi doesn't get sick in the next few months, his ancient medical skills won't improve at all. Lin Xiaoxi plays with Dr. Toys, which can improve his Western medicine skills. He now has more than 50 hours of experience in Western medicine skills, and he will reach legendary level with 80 hours of experience. If Lin Xiaoxi plays for an hour every day, he will reach legendary level in a month without playing Dr. Toys. His medical skills will definitely be number 1. It is unlikely that she will play with the Dr. Toy for so long every day. Lin Xiaochen may play for several days in a row when she is in the mood, or she may not touch it for a week. Lin Chen will not force her. Can she become the best in the country in 3 or 5 years? Lin Xiao, it seems that we may have to trouble you in the future. The gaze that Zhang Lao and the others directed at Lin Chen became even friendlier. Song Lao let out a sigh. Lin Chen is so skilled, but he has not been treated by him, and he has a vague and ominous feeling in his heart. Seniors, when my medical skills improve and I obtain a medical license, you will have no problem seeking treatment from me. Lin Chen smiled. It's good to have your word. Everyone, let's toast Lin Xiao? One of the bigwigs suggested with a smile. The rest nodded. Soon Lin Chen and the others finished their last glass of wine and they walked out of the small hall chatting and laughing. This young man is amazing. Many people had this thought in their hearts. Chapter 225 Lin Xiaoqian, how long do I have to live? The atmosphere became much more lively after the bigwigs left. When those bigwigs were in the small hall, many people outside would unconsciously hold back a bit. They dared not speak loudly for fear of shocking the people in the sky. Dad! Lin Chen walked towards Lin Xiaoqian, who called out joyfully. Su Mengyao and the others were still eating at their table. The big shots were in a hurry and ate quickly, while the people in the hall outside ate much more slowly. After all, the guests here were not small in number, and deals might be struck over the dinner table. Honey! Lin Chen called out as he approached Su Mengyao. Honey, has Shishi finished eating? I'm done. I'll take Shishi, you eat slowly. Lin Chen said with a smile. Su Mengyao nodded, she's finished eating. But you're afraid you won't have time to take Shishi for the time being, honey? Song Qingxuan walked over at this time. He laughed and said, Lin Xiao, I know you're a big drinker, but you haven't had enough, have you? I've been entrusted by everyone at our table to invite you to have a few drinks. Lin Chen stroked Lin Xiaoxi's little head and said, Cici, how about I play with you again later? Dad, don't get drunk, Lin Xiaoxi said in a baby voice. No problem, Lin Chen said with a smile. Honey, Song invited us warmly, so I'll go have a few drinks with them. Okay. Su Mengyao nodded. Lin Chen and the others walked over to Song Qingxuan's table, and someone at Su Mengyao's table asked curiously, Su, did your husband meet someone important? Maybe, Su Mengyao said ambiguously. Another person said, President Liu, you'd better not ask. If it involves a top big shot, I'm afraid President Su can't just blurt it out. President Su, I'm just asking casually. Let's not talk about this, let's just talk about business, the woman with a strong sense of curiosity just now hastily said. At the other table, Pan Jia's brows were furrowed. She didn't think Lin Chen was important, but Lin Chen was actually able to sit at the same table as big shots like Song Lao. The women at the table with Su Mengyao were also much more important than the women at her table. It was clear that Lin Chen and the others were much more important in the eyes of the Song family. She wanted to take Su Mengyao abroad and introduce her to other men, which had seriously offended Lin Chen. It was unlikely that she and the Song family would be able to cooperate. What a stroke of luck! Lin Chen was also good at basketball, so did he get the appreciation of a certain big shot because of that? Pan Jia thought to herself. Lin Chen and the others were at a table, and he had a drink with the rest of them. Lin Xiao, I'll toast you first. Song Qingxuan raised his wine glass and smiled. Lin Chen, Mr. Song, I'm a little younger than you, so I should toast you. Isn't it inappropriate for you to toast me? Song Qingxuan laughed. Ability is more important than age. You're better than me, so it's appropriate for me to toast you. I'll drink first as a show of respect, Song Qingxuan said and drank it all in one go. Lin Chen naturally finished the wine in his glass as well. This scene was witnessed by the rest of the people at the table, and even some people at the other tables. They muttered in their hearts, what is Lin Chen's background? Lin Xiao, I'll toast you as well. A big man on Lin Chen's left said, he has quite a lot of assets, but compared to the Song family, he is still much worse off, and Song Qingxuan is still so polite to Lin Chen. Young Master Lin, I toast you. Young Master Lin. And the rest of the people at the table toasted one after the other. After they finished, Song Shiais came over with a glass in his hand. Young Master Lin, why don't you come sit at our table? The people at our table would also like to get to know you. Lin Chen and Song Shiais had a drink. He apologized and went to Song Shiais' table. Dad, are you okay? Lin Chen sat next to Su Guofeng. Su Guofeng was already 7/8 drunk. He rubbed his forehead and said, I've had a bit too much to drink. President Song and the others were too good at persuading people to drink. You drink with them, and I'll take a break. Lin Chen was invited to drink in the small hall. Su Guofeng and the others at the table were all people with experience. They definitely had to make Su Guofeng feel their enthusiasm. Dad, then you rest well. Lin Chen smiled. As the minutes passed, Lin Chen's table and Song Shiai's table were both getting drunk. Of course, they were not completely drunk. Getting drunk and embarrassing yourself in front of so many people is not an option. Lin Xiao, you have a huge capacity. We admit defeat, let's stop here. One of the big shots begged for mercy. He was also a warrior tested by alcohol, but Lin Chen drank like water, and he really could not compete. Lin Chen laughed and said, fine, let's stop here. If you continue, I'm afraid I'll get drunk too. Song Shiais and the others looked at Lin Chen. Lin Chen didn't look like he was going to get drunk at all. The group got up. Song Shiais glanced over at his second brother, and he was a little puzzled. His younger brother Song Shikong didn't even drink a glass of wine with Lin Chen. Did Song Shikong have a problem with Lin Chen? Song Shikong asked him to help the Wu family, and Song Shikong is his younger brother, so naturally he helped before. It's only natural that he ended it when things got out of hand. Old Song, we'll take our leave first. Take care of your health. Lin Chen and Su Mengyao arrived at Old Song's courtyard, and Lin Xiaoxi followed behind and came to play in Old Song's courtyard. Old Song, Lin Xiaoxi, I have something to ask you. Lin Chen went alone with Song Lao into his study. Song Lao sat down, his expression was very tired. Lin Chen, you sit too, tell me the truth, is my current physical condition very bad? Song Lao asked. Lin Chen, Song Lao, don't worry, you should have checked, there is nothing seriously wrong with your body. Song Lao shook his head. Machines can't always be trusted. A person is a whole, And just because there is nothing seriously wrong with each part doesn't mean that there won't be a problem when they come together. Tell me. I want to know. Our Song family is such a big family. If I suddenly disappear, the whole family may have problems. Lin Chen was silent. Song Lao stared at Lin Chen and said, Lin, I'm prepared. Don't worry, I can handle it. Lin Chen sighed and said, Song Lao, within a month, your vitality will completely dry up. Song Lao's face changed. He didn't expect death to be so close. Lin Chen, can't you cure it? Song Lao asked with a deep breath. Lin Chen shook his head, you can only be cured if you are sick. In your case, Song Lao, I don't have any way to help. What about taking tonic medicine to supplement my health? Lin Chen, you are now too weak to receive tonic medicine. Taking tonic medicine will also consume your body's vitality. Your body will not be able to replenish much vitality now. Song Lao said after a moment of silence. I understand. Lin Chen, thank you. Lin Chen said hesitantly, Old Master Song, there's something I'm not sure whether I should tell you or not. Old Master Song's face creased into a smile, I'm almost dead, what can't I accept? Just tell me. Lin Chen said, Old Master Song, after you've gone, Second Master Song plans to join forces with the head of the Song family to oust Third Master Song, and then compete with the head of the Song family for the position of head of the family. He originally didn't plan to say this now. But Song Lao asked him to drink with the bigwigs and asked them to take care of him, and Song Lao has placed a heavy bet on him. Song Lao has a high degree of trust in him. Lin Chen, are you sure? Song Lao said with a solemn expression. Lin Chen said with certainty, I'm sure. Fabricating rumors about Song heir will cause internal strife in the Song family, which will do me no good. A strong Song family will do me good. Chapter 226, Daddy will perform a magic trick for you. Old Song looked at Lin Chen. Lin Chen really had no need to lie to him. First, Lin Chen would go down in history in the future, and he would cherish his reputation, so the chance of him using despicable means was low. Second, Song Jiaqiang's strength was really beneficial to Lin Chen, and Lin Chen had no reason to do so as their interests were aligned. They had always gotten along very well. Song Lao sighed lightly, I thought it was good for them, and they would not turn against each other in the future, but I never thought that this would still happen. Lin Xiao, what do you think I should do? Lin Chen shook his head. Song Lao, this is your family business, I am just telling you the situation, whether you want to verify it or not, and what you do next is up to you. Meng Yao and the others are still waiting for me, I'll go first. Song Lao nodded slightly, Lin Xiao, I don't have much longevity left, so don't tell anyone about this. Okay. Lin Chen opened the door and walked out. Old Song picked up a photo on the desk, old woman, it won't be long before I come to keep you company. Dad, you stink. Lin Xiaoqian pinched her little nose. Where does Dad stink? Lin Chen sniffed, there's no stink on him. Su Mengyao laughed next to him, honey, it's the smell of alcohol on you. Xiaoqian also said that about my dad. Xiaoqian, mommy hug you? Lin Xiaoqian let go of her little hand pinching her nose, Mom, you drank too. You both stink, but I still love you both. You little brat. Lin Chen scratched Lin Xiaoqian's little nose, Xiaoqian, how about I do a magic trick for you? What kind of magic? Lin Xiaoqian asked curiously. Lin Chen, Dad will make the smell of alcohol on his body disappear. MMM. Lin Xiaoqian's eyes lit up. Lin Chen thought in his head, system, please collect all the alcohol in my stomach, as well as the sweat on my body and the alcohol on my clothes, into the system space. This is a new function he discovered before. However, he just used this function to cheat while drinking. He was still far from getting drunk, and the problem of his stomach bloating would be solved by going to the toilet. No one else was competing with him in drinking, and it would not be good for him to use this function to cheat if others really drank. There is no problem using it now that he has finished drinking. Okay, host. The voice of the system sounded in his head. Soon Lin Chen's stomach was empty of alcohol, his body surface sweat was gone, and the alcohol on his clothes was also gone. The alcohol in his blood vessels and cells was still there, but it would not come out soon. The alcohol in the blood vessels and cells could not be absorbed, but with his physique and internal strength, he could digest it quickly. Lin Chen reached into his pocket. A box of chewing gum in the system space reached into his hands. The alcohol in his mouth was absorbed by the system, and after eating another piece of gum, the smell completely changed. Cici, how is it? Lin Chen asked with a smile. Lin Xiaoxi sniffed and said in surprise, "Dad, you've become a fragrant dad again. Mom, come and smell." Su Mengyao looked at Lin Chen in surprise. She wondered in her heart, did Lin Chen use internal strength to refine the alcohol? There were indeed such scenes in TV dramas. Mom can't smell it. Mom can only smell the alcohol on her own body. Su Mengyao said. The three of them went outside the manor, where Song Qingxuan was waiting for them, with his own car parked nearby. "Lin Xiao, are you really not staying at our house for the night?" Song Qingxuan asked. Lin Chen shook his head. "My wife still has things to do at the company, and she came over today because she was squeezing time to come. You can just have someone drop us off at the high-speed railway station." Song Qingxuan was surprised, going back in such a hurry? Come over to our house for a get-together when you have time." Lin Chen smiled. Song Qingxuan's eyes lit up with joy as he said, "Lin Xiao, when there's time, there must be time. We'll find time to visit the Magic City as soon as possible." "Okay." Lin Chen nodded. Soon they got into the car and left. Song Qingxuan's face was full of a smile. He could finally go for a meal once in a while. Of course, the meal was secondary, the main thing was the takeaway. An hour or so later, Lin Chen and the others arrived at the high-speed railway station. Lin Xiaoqian had a nap in the car and felt refreshed. Drip. Yang Qingyue turned on the video. "Meng Yao, is Lin Chen okay? Your father lay down and fell asleep, he will be fine after a nap," Yang Qingyue said. Su Mengyao pointed the phone at Lin Chen, who laughed and said, "Mom, I'm doing great. I've only had 10 bottles today, not as much as last time. I'll take care of Mengyao and Xiaoqian on the way." Su Mengyao glanced at Lin Chen. "Just a dozen bottles. That word just is used well." Yang Qingyue smiled, "That's good. I was thinking that if you drank a lot, I would ask Mengyao to take care of you a bit, but it seems that won't be necessary." Lin Xiaoqian, "Grandma, I'm right here. Can't you see me?" Yang Qingyue smiled, "Xiaoqian, you didn't call me grandma just now, so I didn't see you. Now that you've called me grandma, of course I see you. Grandma, I'm almost 3 years old. I can take care of my mom and dad," Lin Xiaoqian said seriously. Yang Qingyue said happily, "That's even better, our Xiaoqian is now a little adult." After chatting for a while, Su Mengyao hung up the video call. The three of them entered the waiting room. Dee. Su Mengyao's phone rang. After answering the phone, Su Mengyao said, "Honey, we might have to postpone going to Ely a little. After today's event, I think a lot of companies will want to cooperate with us in the next few days. My father and I will both be busy with takeoffs." Lin Chen nodded, "It's fine to be a little late. The Su Group is expected to grow a lot after this wave." Su Mengyao nodded. The market value of the group is now over 70 billion yuan, and with a good operation this wave, the market value could approach 100 billion yuan. The assets of our Su family could reach around 50 billion yuan. Lin Chen said with a smile, "My dear, if you work harder and strive for the Su family's assets to exceed 100 billion yuan, then I can eat very well off soft rice in the future." Su Mengyao pouted, "You don't need it." Lin Xiaoqian said in a baby voice, "Mom, I like soft rice too. Hard rice doesn't taste good." Su Mengyao burst out laughing. It wasn't long before Lin Chen and the others boarded the high-speed train. Once they were on the train, Lin Chen taught Lin Xiaoqian how to fold an origami airplane. His airplane building skills needed to be improved as much as possible. The airplanes that China bought from abroad had back doors, and he knew a little about them, but he definitely didn't know everything. Once his aircraft manufacturing skills reached the Grandmaster level, he should know all about those back doors. Even if Su Mengyao didn't mention it, he actually wanted to postpone the trip to Ely a bit. When he decided to go to Ely, nothing had happened yet, but the accident with Su Guofeng's plane sounded the alarm. Su Mengyao's plane was a private plane, and the chances of it having a backdoor were lower, but Lin Chen couldn't rule out the possibility. Delaying a bit. Even if his aircraft manufacturing skills cannot reach the Grandmaster level by then, his ability will be stronger. His chances of discovering the problem are higher. System, how many hours of aircraft manufacturing skills do I have now? Lin Chen asked in his mind. System, host, it is now 65 hours. Lin Chen sighed inwardly. There is still a long way to go. It takes 100 hours to reach the Grandmaster level. It is a long way to go. Chapter 227, Hacker Skills at the Master Level. CC, you have to work hard. How quickly your father can become a grandmaster depends on you. Lin Chen muttered to himself while teaching. Su Mengyao looked at Lin Chen and the others with a smile. Honey, I feel a little sleepy, I'm going to take a nap. Okay. Sleep peacefully. Lin Chen looked at Su Mengyao and said gently. Lin Xiaoxi blinked her eyes. Mom, do you want Daddy to put you to sleep? I'll lend you Daddy. No, you just follow Daddy and learn well. Su Mengyao said crossly. There are still other guests around. If not, Lin Chen can put her to sleep, which is fine. Lin Chen's bedtime stories have a very good hypnotic effect. Su Mengyao closed her eyes and fell asleep, and Lin Chen continued to teach Lin Xiaoxi. The paper airplane he was teaching now was much more complicated than the first one, and Lin Xiaoxi was learning very hard. This can exercise Lin Xiaoxi's concentration. And it can also exercise her finger control. Unconsciously, 2 hours passed. Lin Xiaoxi had a nap on the way here, and she was quite energetic, and she followed Lin Chen to learn for 2 hours. But after studying for so long, her interest began to wane. Cici, let's not play this anymore. Think about it, what else can we play? Lin Chen said with a smile. He wanted to quickly improve his aircraft manufacturing skills, but he must not be too impatient. If Lin Cici hates this at once, it will be difficult to improve in the future. Dad, can I play a game? Lin Cici looked up at Lin Chen and asked. Lin Chen asked in his head, System, can I improve my hacking skills if she plays games on her phone? The system said, some can, some cannot, host. Lin Chen downloaded a little game where you have to hit the letters. Little monsters come at you with letters on their heads, and you can destroy them by hitting the letters on their heads. System, can I do this? Yes. Lin Xiaoxian took out her phone and started playing. 5 minutes passed and Lin Chen started gaining hacking experience. System, how much hacking experience have I gained? Lin Chen asked in his head. 6 hours. Lin Chen has been gaining hacking skills for a while, but Lin Xiaoxi only plays games for a short time every day, so his hacking skills are improving more slowly. It will take more than 30 hours to upgrade from aircraft manufacturing skills to Grandmaster level, and it won't be easy to get there. If I let Xiaoxi play games, her hacking skills will quickly improve to Grandmaster level. Lin Chen thought to himself. Hacking skills are only 14 hours away from reaching the Grandmaster level. Unlike games in origami planes, if she plays more, Lin Chen is not worried at all that Lin Xiaoxi will not play in the future. Playing games too much will be harmful to her, but if something goes wrong with the plane, the harm will be even greater. Lin Chen thought to himself. If his hacking skills reach the Grandmaster level, and if he is also strong in aircraft manufacturing skills, he can ensure that Su Mengyao's private plane will not be controlled remotely. In the next few days, let Cici play more. Lin Chen thought to himself. Compared to playing games, the hazards are much lower, and playing more with Lin Xiaoxi for a short period of time will not have a significant impact on her eyesight. Her physical fitness will also improve her eyesight in the future. Another hour passed. Su Mengyao woke up. Cici, what are you doing? Su Mengyao looked at Lin Xiaoxi and asked. Lin Xiaoxian said in a baby voice, Mom, I'm fighting the little monsters, I'm defending our home. Cici, Mom is awake, so you can keep her company for a while. We can play again later. Lin Chen paused the game. Lin Xiaoxian's eyes lit up and she said, Dad, can I still play later? Yes, you can go to Mom first. Lin Chen kissed Lin Xiaoxian. Su Mengyao looked at Lin Chen with some confusion. Didn't Lin Chen strictly control the time Lin Xiaoxi spent playing games? Did Lin Xiaoxi only play for a little while? 20 minutes passed. Lin Xiaoxi arrived at Lin Chen's place to continue playing games. She played for another hour and a half before the high-speed train arrived at the station. Lin Chen's hacking experience had increased by 2.5 hours. In the past, he would only play for 20 minutes at most a day. Lin Chen parked in the high-speed railway station parking lot, went to his car, and Lin Xiaoxian quickly fell asleep. Su Mengyao asked doubtfully, Honey, why did you let Cici play video games for so long today? Will playing video games for a long time affect her eyesight? Lin Chen said, It's fine to play occasionally. Cici's physical fitness will improve by practicing martial arts with me, and improving her physical fitness will also improve her eyesight. Su Mengyao nodded gently. Honey, Cici won't get addicted to games, will she? Lin Chen shook his head, It's unlikely. Cici doesn't have a natural talent for games. I limit her playing time, and she really wants to play every day. I might as well let her play for a few days. I guess she'll just think games are so by then. Su Mengyao, Honey, you decide. You're much better at teaching children than I am. Cici has changed a lot since you've taken her under your wing. Before long, it was the next day. In the morning, Lin Chen let Lin Xiaoxi play a lot of time games again. Host, your hacking skills have reached the master level. The system's voice rang in Lin Chen's mind. A lot of information flooded into Lin Chen's mind. Lin Chen was full of emotion, let go of the control over the time Lin Xiaoxi played games, and realized that the upgrade was really fast. Yesterday, he only had 6 hours of experience, but today, he has already reached 10 hours. If Lin Xiaoqian plays for 2 to 3 hours every day, he will soon become a Grandmaster. Once he reaches the Grandmaster level, he can check his phone and computer again, and then add protective programs to them, Lin Chen thought to himself. His network security is in the hands of the national security, and now only the Grandmaster level is not necessarily better than the national security network experts. China's information security was previously weak, but now it is not weak anymore. Half an hour more. Lin Chen said, Cici, let's stop for now. If you still want to play in the afternoon, I'll let you play for a while. You can stay here and keep me company while I cook dinner. Lin Xiaoqian nodded. Lin Chen carried Lin Xiaoqian to her high chair. The high chair was placed by the kitchen door. While cooking, Lin Chen taught her math and English. Her skills in cooking, English, and math could be improved together. Not long after finishing dinner, Lin Xiaoqian fell asleep. Knock, knock. A knock came from the door. Lin Chen opened the door, and there was Tian Lang outside. Lin Xiaoqian is asleep, right? Tian Lang asked. Lin Chen nodded, yes, she is. Come in. Tian Lang entered the room. Lin Chen asked him to sit down on the sofa. Tian Lang looked grave and said, Lin, the investigation has come to a result. What's the verdict? Lin Chen asked. Tian Lang, Guo Qingsong has been corrupted by money and he has been arrested. He leaked information about academician Lin to an intelligence organization. That organization should have suspected it was you after analysis. So they used Su's flight to test the waters. Lin Chen's expression did not change. It's what I expected. Did that intelligence organization find out? Tian Lang shook his head and said, not yet. Intelligence organizations of this kind all have extremely strong anti-detection capabilities. The person who contacted Guo Qingsong was found, but he has no idea who his contact is. Lin Chen, Tian Lang, so you came here too. Chapter 228, 2 billion in consulting fees. Tian Lang said, I came here for 2 reasons. The first thing is, do you want to live somewhere else? Go somewhere safer and do some research. Lin Chen. What do you think? My wife gave up tens of billions of assets to come with me, or do we live on opposite sides of the world and only see each other once a year? Do I take my daughter with me or does my wife take her? Tian Lang coughed lightly, I'm just asking. After all, even if there is protection, there will still be a certain degree of risk. Security personnel cannot protect you at all times. Lin Chen, I'm pretty good at fighting. I can fight single-handedly against 8 or 10 ordinary adult men without any problem. You don't have to worry about close-range attacks. Tian Lang looked at Lin Chen in surprise. Mr. Lin, are you sure? It is not easy to fight one-on-one against 8 or 10 ordinary adult men. My martial arts skills are not bad, but I may not be able to do it. Lin Chen instantly struck. His fingertips grazed Tian Lang's neck, and he withdrew his hand before Tian Lang reacted and looked at Lin Chen in shock. If Lin Chen had clamped a blade between his fingers, this strike could instantly cut open his neck. Mr. Lin, you. Tian Lang touched his neck and broke out in a cold sweat. Lin Chen said, I have a good learning ability and average fighting skills. If someone wants to target me at close range, they won't be my opponent without a gun. The focus of your security is to prevent someone from shooting from a distance. Tian Lang nodded. If Lin Chen himself had strong fighting skills, their security work would be much less difficult. Mr. Lin, what is your shooting level like? Tian Lang asked. Lin Chen, I've played at shooting ranges abroad, and my shooting level is okay. Why do you ask? Tian Lang thought for a moment and said, Mr. Lin, I'll find a place for you to practice your marksmanship. If your marksmanship improves, I'll apply for you to get a gun license. Lin Chen's eyes lit up. This is good. Tian Lang said, Mr. Lin, you can't use this casually, and you have to ensure the safety of the gun. If the gun is lost, you will be held responsible. Don't worry, it won't get lost. Lin Chen said confidently. Once he gets the gun, he can store it in the system space. How can it get lost in the system space? Tian Lang, I have to apply to the higher-ups first. If your shooting level is good, there should still be hope. Lin Chen nodded. How could he fail the test with his level? He had taken Lin Xiaoxi to the amusement park many times, and every time he would take her to play shooting. He had also taken her to the shooting stalls on the street. His shooting level is not yet at the Grandmaster level, but it is already at the Master level. There are 3.5 million Chinese soldiers and armed police officers, and there are definitely less than 100 of them who can reach the Grandmaster level in shooting. What about the other thing? Lin Chen asked. Tian Lang, Mr. Lin, you were able to quickly determine what was wrong with that plane. You should have a very, very deep understanding of that type of plane. Does it have any other problems? Do you have any knowledge of the flaws in the rest of the models? Lin Chen asked, the airline company has approached you? Tian Lang shook his head. No. There are leaders above who care about this. After all, the safety of many people is at stake. Lin Chen said, I do know some. But what I know at my current level is definitely not comprehensive. Plugging these loopholes may not be of much use. Tian Lang shook his head. Mr. Lin, you're thinking about this wrong. The level of the loophole or backdoor is different, and the number of forces that know about it is different. The deepest backdoor is definitely known only by very few forces. Closing the backdoors that are known to many forces will be much safer. Lin Chen suddenly realized. You make sense. Tian Lang, Mr. Lin, can you help? Lin Chen took out his phone and checked. There are a total of more than 4,200 aircraft in our country's airlines. I don't know how many have been bought abroad. Let's just count 2,000. Isn't 1 million consultancy fees per aircraft not too high? Tian Lang. Lin Chen, don't blame me for being realistic. I'll offend people if I offer this, and I'll offend people without any benefits? All major airlines are making a fortune, so it's reasonable for me to earn some commission, isn't it? I'm not going to be a goody-goody. Tian Lang nodded slightly, it's reasonable. The airlines have money, and you don't need to take risks and give them a big piece of cake for free. Lin Chen, 2,000 planes, 1 million each. I only want 2 billion in consulting fees. You decide how to collect it. Tian Lang, Mr. Lin, do you know about the loopholes in all models? Lin Chen said, I know a lot anyway. I'll sell it to you for 2 billion, and you can sell it to those airlines. You might even make a lot of money. Tian Lang nodded. Mr. Lin, I can't decide. But I will report this situation. Can you reduce the price of 2 billion? Lin Chen shook his head, 2 billion is non-negotiable. If it is divided among so many airlines, each airline will not get much. I am not willing to take the risk while they make the money. Don't moralize me. I am not that moral sometimes. Tian Lang nodded, I will report to the higher-ups. This is not a small amount of money. It may not be resolved for a while. Lin Chen, it's okay, I am in no hurry. Every year, major airlines hire foreign engineers to do maintenance, and the money spent is not a small amount. Some problems may not be caused by wear and tear. Tian Lang stood up and said, Mr. Lin, I will give you an answer to both matters as soon as possible. If the higher-ups agree to issue you a gun permit, you will need to find time to practice shooting. Okay. Tian Lang left soon after. It wasn't long before he reported back to the higher-ups. The bigwigs gathered together to discuss. As long as Lin Chen passes the marksmanship test, I don't think there will be a problem with the gun permit. A top genius like him cannot afford to have anything happen to him. But isn't 2 billion in consulting fees a bit much? One of the bigwigs spoke up. Another bigwig said, I think it's fine. This one said that he would indeed be in danger a lot. We have no reason to kidnap him and make him provide it for free. I didn't say I wouldn't pay, just that 2 billion is a bit much. The third bigwig said, 2 billion, if the major airlines can clear up a lot of loopholes, it's still cost-effective, and their annual expenses will be reduced. There are thousands of civil aircraft in our country, and so many passengers travel every year, 2 billion is worth it to buy their safety. The big bosses discussed it for a while. They didn't disagree much. After all, they weren't the ones who had to pay for it. It was the responsibility of the major airlines to pay for safety. Since no one had any objections, we will organize safety training for the relevant personnel of the major airlines. Safety work must be implemented well. The leading big boss gave the final word. Soon an official document was sent to all major airlines. A 3-day safety discussion meeting will be held next. The heads of all major airlines are required to attend. Chapter 229, Hacker Skills at the Grandmaster Level. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Lin Xiaoxi played games for more than 3 hours every day. Of course, she didn't play continuously. Lin Chen arranged the necessary outdoor sports for her. Host, your hacker skills have reached the Grandmaster level. The system's voice rang in Lin Chen's mind. A large amount of information flooded into Lin Chen's mind. There are only 10 or so people in the world with hacker skills at the Grandmaster level, and he has become a Grandmaster, so his hacker skills are probably in the top 10 in the world. Shishi, which do you like better, playing games or drawing? Lin Chen asked. Lin Xiaoxi, Daddy, I like them both. Lin Chen, Daddy is asking which you like better. Lin Xiaoxi thought for a moment and said, I like drawing better. Lin Chen paused the game and said, Cici, you like painting better, so tell me, how much time did you spend painting these past 3 days? Lin Xiaoxian shook her head. Dad, not much. Lin Chen continued softly, Cici, you used to really want to play games, every day you wanted to play for a little longer. Dad will let you play as much as you want these next few days. If playing games makes you really happy and you learn a lot, we'll continue doing this in the future. Think carefully about whether you want to do that. Lin Xiaoxi lowered her head and thought about it. After a while, she looked up and said, Dad, I don't seem to like it that much either. There are too many monsters, and I can't beat them all. I like drawing and math better. I also like balls, and I like going to the playground. Lin Chen stroked Lin Xiaoxi's little head and said, Cici, our time each day is limited. If we spend a lot of time playing games, we won't be able to do anything else. You need to think about what really makes you happy. Do you still want to keep playing? Lin Xiaoxian shook her head repeatedly. Dad, I don't want to think about it now. I want to become as good as you, hee hee. Lin Chen scratched Lin Xiaoxian's little nose. If you want to be as good as your dad, you have to work a little harder. You can still play games in the future, but it's best not to play for so long every day, don't you think? Lin Xiaoxian nodded, Dad, I want to learn math now, okay? Lin Chen smiled and said, Of course it's okay. Drip. Tian Lang called. Cici, Dad is going to answer the phone, you go do the exercises Dad prepared for you, Dad will talk to you later. Lin Chen picked Lin Xiaoxi up from a high stool. Lin Xiaoxi ran happily to the balcony. Her strong talent made her very interested in math. Tian Lang, is there something wrong? Lin Chen asked as he answered the phone. Tian Lang said on the other end of the line, Mr. Lin, on the surface the country is conducting security training, but secretly the government has discussed paying to fix the loopholes with major airlines. The major airlines have agreed. 2 billion yuan will be transferred to your card soon after taxes. Lin Chen's face revealed a faint smile. What a windfall! It turned out that there was quite a bit of money on his bank card, but it was less than 300 million yuan, and now it was about to increase by more than a dozen billion yuan. The tax should be 20%, and after paying 400 million in taxes, there will still be 1.6 billion. It won't be long before he publishes another book. By then, his cash will be on its way to achieving the 20 small goals. For many companies with assets of tens of billions of dollars, it is not an easy task for the owner to withdraw 2 billion in cash. With so much cash, if something happens to Su's group, he can completely help Su Mengyao withstand it. Many companies go bankrupt because their cash flow dries up. Tian Lang, my bank account is confidential, right? Lin Chen asked. Tian Lang said over the phone, Yes, Mr. Lin, your level is high, and only a very small number of people can check your account. Basically no one will know how much money you have in your account. Lin Chen, Mr. Lin, how long will it take you to prepare the loopholes and backdoors? Lin Chen said, I'm ready, you can come and pick it up at any time, or you can give me a URL and I'll just upload the stuff directly to that URL. Mr. Lin, I'll come and pick it up then. Tian Lang hurriedly said. He wasn't very confident about uploading such an important thing directly online. This was something that had cost 2 billion to buy. Lin Chen hung up the phone. Half an hour passed. Ding! Lin Chen received a text message informing him that 1.6 billion yuan had been deposited into his bank account, and that his bank balance was now 1.88 billion yuan. That was fast. Lin Chen muttered to himself. He had not even given away those loopholes and backdoors yet, and the company had already transferred his consulting fee. Dad, how do I do this problem? Let me see. Lin Chen put aside the matter of receiving a huge sum of money. He didn't lack money now, and even if he received a huge sum of 1.6 billion, it would only make him happy for a short while. Lin Xiaoxi's progress could make him happy for a longer period of time. In the evening, the doorbell rang. Lin Chen opened the door, and outside were Tian Lang and 2 other people. The information was important, so they had to ensure safety. Mr. Lin, we're here to pick something up, Tian Lang said. Lin Chen nodded, and he reached his hand into his pocket. A USB flash drive in the system space fell into his hands. Lin Chen took it out. The stuff is in here, everything is marked inside, and the solution is also in there. The USB flash drive has a password. I'll tell you the password after you've returned safely. Forcibly opening it will destroy the data inside. With his current level of hacking, it would be difficult to forcibly open it. Okay, Mr. Lin. Mr. Lin, you've thought of everything. Tian Lang took the USB flash drive and put it in a suitcase. Lin Chen had such a security measure, he felt much more at ease. Half an hour later, Su Mengyao returned home. At the dinner table, she and Lin Chen talked about some company matters. In recent days, the development of the Su Group has been very smooth. She and Su Guofeng have negotiated several important contracts every day. The company's stock price has skyrocketed for 3 consecutive days. Wife, crisis is a word. There may be opportunities in danger, and there may also be dangers in opportunities. We should still guard against risks. Many real estate companies have expanded frantically, only to end up in debt. Lin Chen reminded her. Su Mengyao nodded, I'll be careful. If we don't guard against it, the company can improve even faster. Husband, you remember Pan Jia, don't you? Lin Chen said, I remember. I think her cooperation with the Song family has cooled down. I mentioned her to Song Qingshuan. Su Mengyao nodded. She has cooperated with the Zhang family. Lin Chen said in surprise, Zhang Qingshan's family? Zhang Qingshan once wanted his son Zhang Su to marry Su Mengyao and swallow the Su family, but then there was no news. How did she hook up with the Zhang family? Zhang Qingshan is not stupid, so why would he cooperate with Pan Jia? Lin Chen was a little surprised. Su Mengyao and Pan Jia did not get along very well. Some people saw and heard that day. Did Zhang Qingshan know or not, but still deliberately cooperate with Pan Jia? I don't know the details. Anyway, the Zhang family got the Pan family to invest in their company. The Pan family now owns 20% of the Zhang family's company and is the second largest shareholder. Su Mengyao said. Lin Chen looked grave. The Zhang family has a good reputation in the government, and the Pan family has billions of euros in assets. Together, they are very powerful. The husband of Pan Jiafu is also Edmund's younger brother. The family behind Edmund has hundreds of billions of euros in assets. Dad, is there a bad guy? I can help. Lin Xiaoxi waved her little fists and said. Chapter 230, A Second Mythical Skill. Lin Chen laughed, I don't need your help. Shishi, you have to remember one thing. If a strange adult asks you for help, you have to refuse, okay? Why? Lin Xiaoxi asked doubtfully. Lin Chen, why don't they ask an adult, or the police, but instead ask a little kid like you? Lin Xiaoxian pondered, and suddenly her eyes lit up. I know, they are liars, they want to trick me. Lin Chen kissed Lin Xiaoqian. Su Mengyao gave a thumbs up and said, Xiaoqian, you are right. If your parents are not around, a stranger asking you for help is likely to be trying to trick you. But if your parents are around, someone doing this is probably just finding you cute and teasing you. Lin Xiaoqian nodded. Lin Chen, Shishi, you know your parents' phone number, their names, and where we live, right? Dad's phone number is. And Lin Xiaoqian said it all clearly. Although the chances of her being abducted were low, Lin Chen had her review these things every once in a while. Lin Chen, if someone who wants to trick you asks you these things, what would you say? Lin Xiaoqian, I'd say I don't know. Yes, that's great. Lin Chen said with a smile. After dinner, Lin Chen washed the dishes. During the process of washing the dishes, he continued to gain experience in cooking. Suddenly, the voice of the system sounded in his mind, "Host, your cooking skills have reached the mythical level." A large amount of information flooded into Lin Chen's mind. There would be a threshold between each level. Crossing this threshold would gain a lot of experience, and crossing this threshold would also significantly improve one's strength. The second mythical skill has finally arrived. Lin Chen's face broke into a smile. System, what are the benefits of cooking to mythical level? The system said, cooking to mythical level, the host's dishes will be unforgettable for the rest of your life. Anorexia patients will be normal for a certain period of time after eating. Your dishes can also keep people full of energy for a longer period of time, and work and study efficiency can be improved. In addition, eating cells for a long time will be healthier, can slow down aging, and life expectancy can also be increased to a certain extent. Lin Chen's eyes revealed a look of surprise. Not bad, not bad. Although his abilities will not be particularly supernatural, Lin Chen is already very satisfied with such an effect. Eating it will make you full of energy and work and study more efficiently, which is useful for Su Mengyao and Lin Xiaoxi. Not to mention that eating it for a long time can slow down aging. System, what kind of effect will Mengyao have on slowing down aging if she eats it for a long time, and how long will her life be extended? Lin Chen asked in his mind. System, host, with your current abilities. Su Mengyao will be 3 to 5 years younger than others if she eats it for a long time, and her lifespan will also be extended by about 3 to 5 years. Lin Chen was surprised. 3 to 5 years is not a short period of time. Moreover, he has just reached the myth level, and according to some fantasy novels, he is still in the early stages of the myth level, and he can still improve a lot in the future. When he reaches a higher level, he may be able to extend his lifespan by 5 to 10 years. If my parents and I eat it for a long time, will the effect be the same? System, host, no. They are already approaching 50 years old, so the effect will be much worse. The sooner they start eating it, and the longer they eat it, the better the effect will be. The effect of extending their lives will only be about 1/4 to 1/5 of Su Mengyao's. Lin Chen shook his head. He was just thinking that if the effect of extending life was good, then maybe he could let his parents and Su Mengyao's parents move in. With only a 1/4 to 1/5 effect, there is no need to bother. His parents are living a very comfortable life in their hometown, and it is unlikely that they would be willing to leave the place where they have lived their whole lives just to extend their lives by a year. It is better to wait until my martial arts are stronger. If my martial arts reach the mythical level, I might be able to directly help my parents open their meridians and extend their lives. Lin Chen thought to himself. Extending life through cooking is definitely far inferior to martial arts. In the future, when ancient medical techniques are upgraded, it is possible that a recipe for extending life will be created, and the effect may be even better. Drip. After just washing the dishes, Lin Chen's phone rang. It was Song Qingxuan calling. Lin Chen answered the call, and on the other end, Song Qingxuan coughed lightly and said, Lin Xiao, I brought Wanner to the demon capital for a checkup. Is it convenient for us to come over tomorrow for a meal? It's convenient. Lin Chen smiled. With his current relationship with Song Qingxuan, this was a trivial matter. Song Qingxuan let out a sigh of relief and said, Lin Xiao, I'll prepare the ingredients and wine myself and bring them over. Okay. After hanging up the phone, Lin Chen asked in his mind, System, you said before that an anorexic patient can get better for a period of time after eating a meal? How long can they get better? Will they be able to eat and drink normally during this period of time? System, it depends on the situation. The more serious the condition, the shorter the effect of a meal will last. It will probably last between 3 days and half a month. During this period of time, they can eat other things. Lin Chen frowned slightly. Only 3 days to half a month? That's too short. System, host, you forgot you can take leftovers. Lin Chen's eyes lit up, you're right. If a meal can last 10 days, and a table of food can be packed to last 10 meals, then eating once every 10 days can last 4 or 5 months. That's pretty good. Even if the relationship is good, he doesn't want people coming to the house all the time, and being able to last a few months on one meal is pretty good. If the situation isn't very serious, then eating like this for a few months, it's estimated that the anorexia will be almost completely cured. In the blink of an eye, it was the next day. Song Qingxuan came with her daughter Song Wan. Compared to before, Song Wan didn't look as terribly thin, and her overall mental state had improved quite a bit. Shishi, this is your sister Song Wan. Lin Chen hugged Lin Xiaoxi and said. Lin Xiaoxi looked curiously at Songwan. Sister Songwan, aren't you going to eat? You have to eat properly. Song Qingchuan, Wanner, you call Uncle Lin. Songwan. Lin Chen is in his 20s, and she is already 17. Lin Chen laughed and said, Brother Song, I'm not much older than Songwan. I'll call you Brother Song, and she can call me Brother Lin. Brother Lin. Songwan hurriedly said. She really couldn't bring herself to call him Uncle Lin. Lin Chen nodded and said, You guys come on in. Song Qingchuan, Brother Lin, don't come in yet, we haven't brought everything, there's more in my car downstairs. You can go down with me a few times to get it. Lin Chen was surprised, a few times? Soon Lin Chen and Song Qingchuan arrived downstairs, and Song Qingchuan opened the trunk, which was full of wine. Lin, I didn't know what to give you. We have a lot of wine in our wine cellar. When I told my father, he told me to bring you some wine from the wine cellar. Song Qingchuan said. Lin Chen, this is not a little bit of it either. I'm afraid that the price of any of these bottles is going to be tens of thousands of dollars, right? There are hundreds of bottles in the trunk. Some of them are probably very rare and expensive, and these wines may be worth tens of millions. Song Qingchuan laughed, no matter how much they are worth, they are just a little wine. Lin, please help me carry them. Lin Chen's car was right next to it. He opened the trunk of his car. Brother Song, I won't be polite, let's move them here first. I'll give some to my father-in-law when I get there. Chapter 231, Take Lin Xiaochen to the shooting range. Put the wine away. Song Qingchuan opened the back door. There was still a lot of food in the car. The meat was mainly pork, chicken, and beef. The meat was vacuum-packed, and the shelf life could reach 10 to 12 months. There were also vegetables such as corn, chestnuts, and beans. These were packaged and frozen, and could be stored for about 5 months. Brother Song, you've prepared quite a lot. Lin Chen laughed. Song Qingchuan coughed lightly. Lin, thank you for your trouble. Wanner has been eating well every day recently, and her condition is improving. I hope she can recover soon. Yes. Lin Chen nodded. The two men carried the remaining dishes upstairs. Lin Chen quickly got busy. There were 6 dishes for 4 people, but each dish had to be generous in portion. Lin Chen made each dish 3 times the usual portion. Song Qingchuan could take 2/3 of it to go. Lin, you are so fast at preparing the ingredients. Song Qingchuan exclaimed in amazement at the kitchen door. He wanted to help, but Lin didn't let him. It wasn't because he was a guest, but because he might get in the way. Brother Song, you remember Pan Jia, don't you? Lin asked while preparing the ingredients. Song Qingchuan nodded, of course I remember. You told me that she had a grudge against you and asked us not to cooperate with her, so we didn't. Pan Jia has partnered with the Zhang family. Do you know anything about this? Lin Chen asked. Song Qingchuan shook his head, I don't know. But the Zhang family is not very powerful, so even if she partners with the Zhang family, there shouldn't be any problems, right? Lin Chen said, Zhang Qingshan wanted his son Zheng Su to marry into the Su family in the past. I think there is a problem with their alliance. Song Qingchuan pondered. There is indeed a relationship. Zheng Qingshan is an old fox, but he did this without caring about our Song family or the other bigwigs. Just the Pan Jiafu family can't give him such confidence. Lin Chen glanced at Song Qingchuan. Brother Song, I don't get along well with the Zhang family, and most people don't know about it, and Pan Jia should not know either. I don't get along well with Pan Jia, and the Zhang family may not have known about it either. Did they happen to hook up together, or did someone help them get together? Song Qingchuan's face changed slightly. After a moment of silence, he said, Lin Xiaoyu, are you saying that someone in our Song family helped them get together? Brother Song, I didn't say that. Song Qingchuan took a deep breath and said, the day before yesterday, Dad told us that he planned to divide the family assets. That way, after he's gone, we won't have to fight over the family assets. Big brother is the head of the family and will get the most, and the rest will be split between the 2 of us. I don't have a problem with that, but second brother doesn't agree with this division of the family assets. In the end, we didn't come to an agreement. Lin Chen didn't say anything. Song Qingchuan said with a sigh, Lin, do you suspect that my second brother has facilitated a partnership between the Pan family and the Zhang family? My second brother is not like that. He has always been quite good to me. He knows that I am on good terms with you. Lin Chen muttered to himself. It seems that what he said to Song Lao did not tell Song Qingchuan, and Song Qingchuan still thinks that his second brother is a good person. Brother Song, I may have been overthinking it, Lin Chen said. Old Song didn't mention it and he didn't tell Song Qingchuan either. Although he and Song Qingchuan got along well, the relationship between Song Qingchuan and his brothers was also apparently very good on the surface. Time passed gradually. The house began to fill with an attractive fragrance. Lin Chen had displayed mythical culinary skills. On the balcony, Song Wan occasionally gulped, her appetite rising at the smell. Brother Song, every time I finish a dish, you can send the extra ones to the refrigerated truck downstairs, Lin Chen said. He knew that Song Qingchuan had arranged for a refrigerated truck to come over, and there was also a vacuum machine in the truck. Bringing the dishes down there, they could be quickly vacuum sealed and frozen. When it's time to eat, take out a portion and thaw it. Okay. Song Qingchuan nodded. Each dish would require a trip, and he would need to make a few more trips, but the faster the food was frozen, the longer it would last. It was almost noon. Song Qingchuan had packed up quite a few dishes, and the rest had been served on the table. This time, the dishes didn't look as good, but they smelled even better than usual. Brother Song, you try some? My cooking has improved recently, Lin Chen said with a smile. Well, I've been wanting to try it for a long time. It smells so good. Song Qingchuan put a piece of meat in his mouth. Shock appeared in his eyes. This meat was even more delicious than the previous ones. Brother Lin, your cooking was already so good, and you still found room for improvement, Song Qingchuan said in disbelief. Song Wan also silently picked up a piece of meat. After eating this piece of meat, she felt that her taste buds had been completely opened. She felt that the dish was very, very delicious. In the past, Lin Chen's cooking was legendary, and although Song Wan could eat it, she didn't find it very delicious. This time, the situation was completely different. Dad, I feel like I'm getting back to normal. I feel like I can eat other dishes, Song Wan said excitedly after taking a few bites. Really? Song Qingchuan's expression was even more excited than Song Wan's. Song Wan nodded. Lin Xiao, what's going on? Song Qingchuan looked at Lin Chen and asked. Lin Chen, Song Wan's feelings should be real, but my dish should only temporarily restore her to normal. You can test how long it lasts exactly, Song Qingchuan said happily. Lin brother, if eating it once can make you feel normal for several days, then this dish that I packed to take back with me might last for 3 or 4 months. Lin Chen nodded. If she can eat and drink normally like this for 3 or 4 months, I think Song Wan will be completely recovered. Song Qingchuan's eyes were red. Thank you. Drip. Song Qingchuan's phone rang as they were leaving. It was Tian Lang calling. Lin Chen answered the call, and Tian Lang said on the other end of the line, Mr. Lin, when are you free? I'll arrange for a car to come pick you up and take you to a specialized shooting range to practice shooting. Your gun license has been approved. But you need to pass the shooting test before you can get it. Lin Chen's eyes lit up. With a gun license, he would be able to legally carry a gun. For a man, this is a very big temptation. Tian Lang, can I bring my daughter there? Lin Chen asked. Tian Lang thought for a moment and said, that's up to you. The shooting range will be a bit noisy, so don't scare Lin Xiaoxi. Well, she's pretty gutsy. Lin Chen said, you can arrange for someone to come over now. I can also drive myself and follow the car you arranged. Wolf, then you can go downstairs. You can drive yourself and follow our car. It wasn't long before Lin Chen and the others arrived at the underground parking lot. Mr. Lin, please follow us closely. It will take about an hour and a half. A man got out of a silver van. There were 3 people in this silver van, and they were part of a team secretly protecting Lin Chen. Okay. Lin Chen set off with Lin Xiaoxi. Lin Xiaoxian soon fell asleep, and when she woke up, Lin Chen had already arrived at the shooting range. Mr. Lin, my name is Wang Rui. I will be teaching you marksmanship for the next while. You'd better come here for 2 hours every day to practice marksmanship. The sooner you get better, the sooner I can be relieved. A young man said to Lin Chen. He was not very happy in his heart. He was a military king-level existence, a sharpshooter, and was originally going to go on a mission, but was instead arranged by his superiors to teach people marksmanship. In his opinion, Lin Chen must be a playboy, and he doesn't have much of a good impression of such a playboy. Chapter 232 Lin Gun, do you still need to practice this? Lin Chen looked at Wang Rui, who was a little emotional. However, if he was really good and the higher-ups had sent him here to teach marksmanship, Lin Chen could completely understand if he was a little emotional. Those with poor talent may not be able to master marksmanship even after 6 months of practice. Who wants to waste a lot of their time for nothing? Uncle Wang, my dad can shoot. Lin Xiaoxian looked at Wang Rui and said in a baby voice. Wang Rui looked at Lin Xiaoxian, and his gaze softened instantly. What's your name, little treasure? Did your dad come here to practice marksmanship before? Lin Xiaoxian, Dad took me to the playground, where you can shoot guns. Dad is very good at it. Wang Rui. That one at the amusement park doesn't count. He looked at Lin Chen and said, Mr. Lin, you mainly practice with pistols, but the leader said that if you are interested in other firearms, you should also learn a little about them. Okay, thanks. Lin Chen said. Wang Rui's face eased a little. At least Lin Chen had a good attitude, and Lin Chen's daughter was very cute. Mr. Lin, you can get in the car, and we'll go to the shooting range. It wasn't long before Lin Chen and the others arrived at the shooting range. Wang Rui opened the trunk of the car and took out a pistol and a box of bullets for it. Mr. Lin, you should give Cece an earmuff. The sound will be quite loud, so don't scare her. Wang Rui handed Lin Chen an earmuff. Lin Chen put it on Lin Xiaoxi. Lin Xiaoxi, Uncle Wang, doesn't Dad have one? Will Dad be scared? Wang Rui squatted down and said, Shishi, your father doesn't have one. Oh, your father is an adult, he has to get used to this. In the future, he won't be scared when he shoots. Lin Xiaoxi nodded. Wang Rui got up and looked at Lin Chen. Mr. Lin, your daughter is very cute. My daughter is about the same age as your daughter, but unfortunately I don't have much time to spend with her. The leader said that your marksmanship needs to be very good in order to avoid injuring yourself or innocent people. Although you have a little shooting foundation, I think you should still need at least a month of practice. When he talked about the basics of shooting, his mouth twitched, and the basics of the playground were of no use here. Instructor Wang, I have also practiced at foreign shooting ranges. Lin Chen said. Wang Rui nodded, that's best. I'll demonstrate it for you first, and then you can shoot a few shots for me to see. You're a novice, so don't shoot with one hand. Hold the gun with both hands. This. Wang Rui carefully explained. Although he had some emotions, he had orders and as a soldier he strictly obeyed them. Bang, bang, bang. After the explanation, Wang Rui fired. He was shooting at a standard 25-meter chest target and fired 5 shots in a row, all of which hit the target accurately. Mr. Lin, ordinary people may have misunderstandings about pistols. It is not easy to hit a target at this distance with a pistol. The requirement for you is to shoot 5 consecutive shots without looking at the number of rounds, and all of them must hit the target. Then you have passed this part of the assessment. There are also subsequent one-handed shooting, shooting at moving targets, etc. Wang Rui said. Lin Chen nodded and looked at Lin Xiaoxian. Cece, you weren't scared by the gunshots, were you? Dad, I wasn't. I'm very brave. Lin Xiaoxi exclaimed. Lin Chen stroked Lin Xiaoxi's little head, and Wang Rui handed Lin Chen the gun. You aim at the target and then turn on the safety. He put Lin Xiaoxi behind himself. Some novices may accidentally injure someone when they get a gun. Bang, bang, bang. Lin Chen shot quickly. He also shot 5 bullets, and the rings he shot were slightly higher than Wang Rui's. After Lin Chen finished shooting, Wang Rui looked at Lin Chen in surprise. Mr. Lin, you haven't just practiced a little. Your level is that of a sharpshooter in the military. He wasn't at all depressed that Lin Chen had outperformed him. If Lin Chen could pass faster, he could get on with other things faster. I've shot a lot of bullets at foreign firing ranges. Lin Chen smiled and laughed. Wang Rui nodded. It's very good that you have this foundation. The standard set by the leader for you to pass is slightly higher. I originally thought that if you didn't come often, you might have to practice for 3 or 5 months. Lin Xiaoxian giggled and said, Uncle Wang, I've already said it, my dad is very, very awesome. Well, your dad is indeed very awesome. Wang Rui said, Lin Chen, why don't you try one-handed again? In actual combat, it may not be convenient to aim and shoot with 2 hands. Lin Chen nodded. He fired 5 more shots with one hand. With his strength and skill with firearms, he shot as steadily as an old dog, and scored 50 out of 50. Wang Rui scored 48. Lin Chen was unfamiliar with the pistol at first, so when he shot with both hands, he scored 49. Wang Rui couldn't believe it. A pistol is far less accurate than a rifle. It's not bad to hit the target at 25 meters, but Lin Chen has hit the target with a 10 ring every time. Lin Gu, you're awesome. Wang Rui said with a thumbs up. He can only occasionally hit 50 rings with one hand. Soon Wang Rui arranged for Lin Chen to try the moving target. The purpose of practicing this is to avoid hurting innocent people. Lin Gu, congratulations, you passed. Wang Rui said happily, the leaders above don't know you well enough. Where do I need to teach you marksmanship? I think you are so good at marksmanship that you should teach me instead. Lin Chen laughed, you are also very good at marksmanship, Wang Rui, since you are here, I want to try out all kinds of firearms. Okay, Lin Gu, you are free to do whatever you like. Wang Rui said cheerfully. Lin Chen squatted down and began teaching Lin Xiaoqian. His marksmanship was now at the level of a master, which was very impressive, but even a grandmaster was not enough for Lin Chen. Wang Rui watched from the side, a little dumbfounded. The instructor had turned out to be Lin Chen, and Lin Chen was teaching his own daughter, Lin Xiaoqian, who looked no more than 3 years old. Lin Gu, she is too young. Even if you teach her, she won't be able to learn. Lin Chen taught for a while, and Wang Rui couldn't help but say. Lin Chen, she needs to know the fear of guns. I can't keep locking my guns in the safe all the time. The chances of her encountering one are low, but we still have to be prepared. That's true. Wang Rui nodded. Time passed by minute, as Lin Chen taught Lin Xiaoxi about pistols, rifles, submachine guns, sniper rifles, etc. Lin Chen would explain each one in detail. His shooting experience continued to improve. Although experience can also be improved at the amusement park, it's nowhere as cool as at a real shooting range. While teaching Lin Xiaoxi, he himself could occasionally shoot a bit. My goodness, this level is even better than the best soldier. Wang Rui muttered to himself. Gradually the sun set in the west, and Lin Chen and the others had been here for 2 or 3 hours. His shooting experience had improved a lot. Wang Rui will continue to come here tomorrow to learn. Lin Chen laughed. Wang Rui. Lin Gu, you don't need to study anymore, you just want to have fun here, right? Lin Chen, what are you talking about? Wang Rui, Lin Gu, you can come whenever you want. I was originally prepared for you to study for a few months. Cici, tomorrow Uncle Wang will prepare a gift for you. Chapter 233, Masterful Marksmanship. Report. Lin Chen and Lin Xiaoqian left, and Wang Rui went to an office. A middle-aged man in the office raised his head. Wang Rui, how is Mr. Lin practicing? Do you have confidence in teaching him in a month? Wang Rui, Captain LV, Mr. Lin has never been in the army? The middle-aged man shook his head. No, why? Wang Rui frowned slightly and said, Team Leader LV, there's something I need to report to you. Mr. Lin is a very good marksman, his marksmanship is even better than mine. Is there a problem with his identity? The middle-aged man shook his head and said, Of course not. Are you sure his marksmanship is better than yours? Positive. But Mr. Lin said he would come back to practice, he said he wants to continue to consolidate his marksmanship. Wang Rui said. The middle-aged man said, his identity is fine, you don't have to doubt that. If he wants to come and practice, just accompany him for a few days, think of it as a holiday. Yes. Wang Rui said, and turned to leave. The middle-aged man then called Tian Lang on the phone. Tian Lang, Mr. Lin is a very good marksman, comparable to the sharpshooters in the army. You can give him the gun. That strong? Tian Lang said in surprise, Old Lu, thank you for your trouble. The middle-aged man said, Mr. Lin is a very good shot, but he will come back again. You have to compensate me for the expenses when he shoots down so many bullets. How much money can a few bullets cost? I'll just screw you over. Old Lu, Mr. Lin is no ordinary person. You will benefit from cultivating a good relationship with him in the future. Tian Lang said impatiently, I only let Mr. Lin go to your place to practice shooting because of our friendship. If you won't invite me to dinner, you're not even going to pay for my expenses? Then I'll just arrange for Mr. Lin to go somewhere else to practice his marksmanship. The middle-aged man asked in surprise, what's Mr. Lin's background? Don't ask. Just know that he's very important. Tian Lang said. Time passed quickly, and the next day arrived. Lin Chen and Lin Xiaoqian came again. Lin Xiaoqian was a girl, but she was still quite interested in firearms. Mr. Lin, I am in charge here, so please feel free to let me know if you have any requests. I used to lead a special task force, so you can just call me Captain LV. The middle-aged man said with a smile. His name was LV Chaoping, and he had been a top-notch soldier in the front line, but then he was injured and came here to manage this shooting range. Okay, thanks, Captain LV. Lin Chen said. LV Chaoping followed Lin Chen and the others to the shooting range. CC, this is for you. Wang Rui gave Lin Xiaoqian a wooden pistol that he had carved himself. His craftsmanship was not bad, and the wooden pistol was quite well carved. Thank you, Uncle Wang. Lin Xiaoqian said in a babyish voice. Thank you. Lin Chendao said. Wang Rui waved his hand, you're welcome. My daughter likes it. I've carved quite a few of them. This one is one of the better ones. Seeing Xiaoqian reminds me of my daughter. Lin Chendao said, Wang Rui, why don't you take a vacation? I don't need you to teach anything here anyway. I'll just hang out here, and you can go back and spend time with your daughter. Wang Rui's eyes showed surprise. He looked at Lu Chaoping, who said, if Mr. Lin's marksmanship is really fine, and you want to go back and see your wife and child. Wang Rui nodded happily. Bang, bang, bang. Lin Chen quickly shot, and he was fast and accurate. LV Chaoping's eyes revealed surprise. He was also a marksman before, but his marksmanship was not as good as Lin Chen's before, and now that he was injured, he could not compare with Lin Chen. Wang Rui, I approve your leave. I'll give you 3 days off to go back and spend time with your family. LV Chaoping said. Yes, team leader LV. Thank you, Mr. Lin. Wang Rui left, and after a while, LV Chaoping also left, as Lin Chen didn't need him to teach at all. Lin Chen taught Lin Xiaoqian. Lin Xiaoqian was no longer very interested in street shooting. Shooting inside the shooting range could quickly improve his experience. Lin Chen didn't really want to rush to the legendary level, and he was satisfied with reaching the Grandmaster level. 2 days passed. Lin Chen has been to the shooting range every day for the past 2 days. Suddenly, the system's voice sounded in Lin Chen's head, Host, your shooting skills have been upgraded to the Grandmaster level. Lin Chen's face revealed a faint smile. It's finally here. With shooting skills at the Grandmaster level, there should be no more than 10 people on the entire planet who are better at marksmanship than him. Moreover, all of his firearms are at the Grandmaster level, and the rest of the people are likely to have only reached the Grandmaster level with a certain type of firearm. Dad, why did you stop? Lin Xiaoqian looked at Lin Chen and asked. Bang, bang, bang. Lin Chen raised his hand and shot. His marksmanship had reached the Grandmaster level, and the gun in his hand seemed to have become a part of his body. He didn't need to aim, he could hit wherever he pointed. Dad, you're so awesome. Dad, I want to become awesome too. Lin Xiaoqian said, clapping her hands. Lin Chen patted Lin Xiaoxi's little head, Cici, Daddy's almost done practicing, shall we go home? Lin Xiaoxi nodded. What Lin Chen was saying to her was that he wanted her to accompany him in practicing, and in the process of practicing Lin Chen would teach her and she would gain experience. Lin Chen and Lin Xiaoqian went home, and Tian Lang soon arrived. Lin Chen and he went to the study. Tian Lang opened the handbag he had brought with him. He took out a special pistol. Mr. Lin, this is the pistol you applied for. Its performance is better than that of an ordinary pistol, but it is much more expensive. This pistol needs your palm print. Even if the others get your pistol, they cannot shoot it. Lin Chen quickly recorded his palm print. Tian Lang said, Mr. Lin, although no one else can fire your gun, you still need to protect it. In addition, you are given 100 bullets, and you need to explain where they were used if you use them. Lin Chen nodded. Tian Lang said with a grave expression, Mr. Lin, the reason for giving you a gun is for your safety. You'd better not let others know that you are carrying a gun. Otherwise, others may use more powerful methods against you. Lin Chen said, Tian Lang, can I only use this gun with my gun license? If I don't have this one with me, can I use the enemy's gun to fight back if I seize it? Of course you can. Tian Lang nodded. Lin Chen smiled, this is actually quite good. Since he can use other weapons, he can prepare more weapons in the system space, which will greatly improve safety. A small pistol is no match for the power of a sniper rifle or heavy machine gun. As long as the enemy is dead, can they still stand up and say that the gun isn't theirs? Mr. Lin, you are safe at home. When you are at home, you'd better lock up this gun. When you are outside, you'd better carry this gun for self-defense. Tian Lang reminded. Lin Chen nodded, don't worry, I will pay attention to it. Tian Lang took his leave and left. Lin Chen stored the gun and bullets in the system space. There are surveillance cameras everywhere, and he rarely uses the system space. The 1,000 cubic system space was now empty. Looks like I'll have to go abroad in the future. Lin Chen muttered to himself. He couldn't get many guns to fill the system space domestically, but in many foreign countries, people with money could buy them at will. He could store a lot of good things in 1,000 cubic. Chapter 234 Sue's Group's Industry. Chi-Chi, my daughter, you guys come after me. In the evening, Lin Xiaoxi played with her two little friends. Lin Xiaoxi was sweating from playing and didn't want to go home. Oops. Suddenly Lin Xiaoxi screamed. She tripped over one foot with the other, and the whole person suddenly fell to the ground, with her forehead having a close encounter with the ground. Wow! The next second, Lin Xiaoxi burst into tears. Lin Chen immediately went up to pick her up. "Cici, Daddy will show you." He quickly checked her over. Fortunately, she had only suffered a bump and no skin had been broken. Her forehead would probably swell up a bit, but it would heal on its own in a few days. "Cici, Daddy, is the child okay?" Lin Xiaoxi's mother and grandmother heard the commotion and quickly approached. "Girls, I told you to slow down, but you just wouldn't listen." Lin Chen stood up, holding Lin Xiaoxi in his arms. He estimated that there would be a bump, but there was no broken skin, so it would heal in a few days. It was normal for children to bump into things, and Xiaoxi tripped over by herself, so it had nothing to do with the girls. Lin Xiaoxi tearfully asked, "Dad, am I going to die?" Lin Chen kissed her little face. "Xiaoxi, what are you talking about? You just fell down, and you have a small bump. It will probably disappear in 2 or 3 days." Lin Chen said, "Girls, Kiki, Shishi, I'll play with you again some other time. I'll go home first and put medicine on her bump." Soon Lin Chen arrived home. Lin Xiaoxi's forehead was swollen. Luckily, she hadn't fallen on something sharp, or her face would have been broken instead of just a small bump. "Shishi, does it hurt?" Lin Chen touched the swollen bag and said with a heartbroken tone. "Dad, it hurts." Lin Xiaoqian's face was pouty. However, her tears had already subsided at this time. Lin Chen said, "Dad will give you some medicine, and then Dad will massage you, which will make you recover faster." There are many medicinal herbs at home, and Lin Chen quickly found the necessary herbs and made a Chinese medicine bag that can reduce swelling. He ground the herbs into a paste with water and applied a poultice to Lin Xiaoqian's swollen area. "Host, your ancient medical skills are beginning to improve." The system's voice sounded in Lin Chen's head. Lin Chen sat down on the sofa with Lin Xiaoqian in his arms, and he gently massaged some of Lin Xiaoqian's related acupoints. Massaging these acupoints can help Lin Xiaoqian recover faster. If acupuncture needles were used, the effect would actually be better, but Lin Xiaoqian is afraid of needles, so it is better not to use them if possible. Time passed by minute. Su Mengyao arrived home. Unlike usual, she didn't smell any fragrance when she arrived home today. Lin Chen was sitting on the sofa holding Lin Xiaoqian in his arms. "CC." Su Mengyau's face changed when she saw the medicine patch on Lin Xiaoqian's forehead. "Mom, I'm fine. I'm very brave, I won't cry," Lin Xiaoqian said in a baby voice. Su Mengyao hurriedly asked, "Honey, is CC?" Lin Chen said helplessly. She told the girls to chase her, and when she turned around to talk, she tripped and her forehead hit the ground, swelling up. "There's no skin break." Su Mengyao let out a sigh of relief. It's good that it didn't break the skin. Sisai has fallen before, and it's normal for children to bump into things. "Honey, don't blame yourself." "Honey, let me cook tonight." Lin Xiaoxi quickly said, "Mom, no." Su Mengyao scratched Lin Xiaoxi's little nose. "Sisai, you don't trust your mom's cooking skills. Mom has watched a lot of cooking videos recently. Mom will show you what she can do today." Lin Xiaoqian looked pitifully at Lin Chen. "Dad, I have a headache. Can I skip dinner tonight?" Lin Chen laughed. "If I cook, will you eat?" Lin Xiaoqian nodded. Lin Chen smiled. "Honey, I'll do it. I've been massaging Xiaoqian for a while, so you can keep her company and we can eat soon. You can show off your cooking skills later." Su Mengyao nodded. After half an hour or so, Lin Chen finished cooking, and he made Lin Xiaoxi's favorite dishes on purpose. "CC, you have a headache, so you won't eat tonight, right?" Su Mengyao teased Lin Xiaoxi. Lin Xiaoxi blinked. "Mom, it's not that painful, actually, I can eat a lot. If I eat a lot, I'll get stronger." "You're right anyway," Su Mengyao said. "Honey, there was an unexpected situation at the company today. At noon, the company's server was hacked. We want to recruit a network expert, but I'm not confident in just anyone. Can you help find someone? As long as the skills are good, the salary is not a problem," Su Mengyao said. Lin Chen asked, "The company server wasn't hacked, was it?" Su Mengyao shook her head. "No, it wasn't. The opponent was very strong, but our network defense capabilities were also okay. It's just that this time we were able to fend it off, but next time we may not be able to. The company needs a more capable network expert to sit in." Lin Chen pointed at himself. He said with a smile, "Wife, why do you have to go far when you have someone close by? Don't you have a network expert right in front of you?" Su Mengyao's eyes revealed surprise. "Husband, are you also very good at network technology?" "It's okay." Lin Chen laughed. His hacking skills are now at the level of a Grandmaster. Hearing Lin Chen say it's okay, Su Mengyao instantly felt relieved. Lin Chen's okay is not the same as the average person's okay. "Honey, but you can't just stay at the company." Su Mengyao frowned slightly. Lin Chen said while he was serving food to Lin Xiaoxi, "I'll add a layer of defense to the company's server. There won't be many people in the world who can break through this layer of defense. It's almost impossible to break through silently. If we encounter an enemy, the defense I added can withstand for quite some time, which is enough for me to log in and solve the problem." Su Mengyao's eyes revealed a look of admiration. "Hubby, you're amazing, you actually know about network technology. Basic operation, don't mess around," Lin Chen said with a smile. Su Mengyao. "Hubby, will you be able to catch the hacker in time?" Lin Chen, "If the hacker continues to operate, I should be able to find the other party if I go online. However, finding the hacker does not mean that we can find the person behind it. The other party may not know who is looking for him either." Su Mengyao nodded gently. "I suspect Tianhe Group." "Tianhe Group?" Lin Chen said doubtfully. Su Mengyao, "It was jointly established by the Zhang family and the Pan Jiafu family, as well as the Wit family behind Edmund. Some of Tianhe Group's business is similar to ours." Lin Chen's eyes narrowed. "It seems that they really are coming after us." Su Mengyao said, "Honey, they may not necessarily be coming after us specifically. A war has made the whole world aware of the importance of drones. Our company has a lot of technical expertise in this area. They may want to swallow us up to gain access to this technology. The Su Group is far from being comparable to DJI in the field of drones, but the Su Group still has a certain amount of strength." "Wife, the Su Group has a drone business," Lin Chen said in surprise. Su Mengyao said with a strange look, "Honey, have you never learned about the Su Group's business?" Lin Chen shook his head, "No. You never mentioned it, and I didn't bother to look it up online." Chapter 235, Network Defense System. Su Mengyao said, "Our Su Group used to be mainly in traditional industries, but in the past 2 or 3 years, we have made a big investment in high-tech industries. I have purchased and integrated several drone companies. Nowadays, our products are selling quite well." Lin Chen's eyes lit up. He had 1,000 cubic meters of system space, and there was no problem with installing 10,000 small drones in the system space. His aircraft manufacturing was now at the master level, and drones were included. He could get the swarm system out. If 10,000 drones were released, and each drone carried a little cute thing, the scene would be beautiful. Even if they don't carry bombs, carrying pepper spray, anti-rape spray, etc., would be enough to make the enemy drink. "Wife, what types of drones does the company produce?" Lin Chen asked. Su Mengyao said, "There are small, medium, and large ones. The small ones are traversing machines, performance drones, and aerial photography drones. The medium-sized ones include delivery drones, pesticide spraying drones, and larger aerial photography drones. The large ones are mainly heavy-load drones. They include large agricultural drones and drones that lift heavy objects." Lin Chen laughed. "That's pretty comprehensive." Su Mengyao nodded. "I saw the potential for growth in this area and bought several drone companies. At the time, those companies were all half dead. Then there was a war abroad, and drones became popular. The overseas sales of the company's drones skyrocketed. Lin Chen looked at Su Mengyao strangely. So his wife is actually half an arms dealer? Honey, why are you looking at me like that? We only produce civilian drones, and we don't sell them to countries at war. We can't control what the buyers do with them, right? Su Mengyao said coquettishly. Lin Chen laughed. You're right. If I design a drone, can the company produce it? Su Mengyao nodded. Of course, there is no problem. Although we are not as good as DJI, we are very mature in this area. Honey, you can design drones? Lin Chen laughed. Of course I can, I haven't read those books for nothing. But the drone I design may not be suitable for sale in the market. Su Mengyao asked doubtfully. Then why do you design it? Don't ask so many questions. I will give you the information in time, and you just need to have it manufactured. Lin Chen said. Su Mengyao nodded. Lin Chen wants to play, then let him play. It's not like he doesn't have the means. The drone designed by Lin Chen may cost a bit more, but a single one should only cost 2 to 3,000, and the total price of 1,000 such drones is only 2 to 3 million. It's not even as expensive as the watch she gave Lin Chen. After dinner and the dishes were washed, Lin Chen continued to massage Lin Xiaoxi. A massage that unblocks the blood and qi lasts longer and is a good way to gain experience. This bag that Lin Xiaoxi is carrying might allow him to gain 10 hours of experience. Honey, do I need to keep massaging like this? In the past, when Sisai bumped into me, I would let her recover on her own. Su Mengyao asked doubtfully. Lin Chen, this way, recovery is faster. I was just sitting around, so I gave Sisai a massage. Lin Xiaoqian lay on Lin Chen like a kitten. She giggled and said, Dad, the massage feels really good. I'm sure Mom would like it too. Why don't you massage her? Lin Chen smiled and said, Dad will massage you first. Mom doesn't need to rush. Dad will definitely massage her later. Su Mengyao's face turned red. She felt that Lin Chen's words seemed a bit off. Lin Xiaoqian fell asleep, and Su Mengyao went into the study. Lin Chen's hands were tapping rapidly on the keyboard, and data kept popping up on the computer monitor in front of him. Hubby, what are you doing? Su Mengyao asked doubtfully as she put down a plate of fruit. Lin Chen replied without looking up, I'm designing a defense system and I'm trying to get it out tonight. Go to bed early, dear, and don't worry about me. I have a lot of energy, I can go without sleep for 2 or 3 days. Su Mengyao went behind Lin Chen and gave him a shoulder massage. Honey, you don't have to work so hard. Although the company is facing cyber threats, it's not that urgent. The company's network department is still quite capable. Lin Chen, the sooner it's done, the sooner I can rest assured. The other party is most likely going after your company's drone technology. Maybe there will be a master at work. Su Mengyao massaged Lin Chen for 10 minutes or so. Lin Chen stood up, put his arms around Su Mengyao, and then kissed Su Mengyao's seductive lips. He didn't stick out his tongue. But he didn't break away after one kiss like he used to. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. 10 seconds passed. Su Mengyao's body trembled lightly, and her face turned a little pale. Lin Chen quickly let her go. Phew! Su Mengyao gasped heavily. Lin Chen patted Su Mengyao's back lightly. After a while, Su Mengyao slowly recovered. Lin Chen said with a smile, Wife, compared to before, you've made great progress. It seems that a French wet kiss is not far away. He. Su Mengyao's face revealed a shy expression. You continue working, I'm going to go accompany Cici to bed. After saying that, she quickly left the room. Lin Chen sat down and continued tapping on the keyboard. The next morning, Lin Chen let out a sigh of relief. He had finally managed to put together the required network defense system. It would be impossible for someone of the same caliber to invade it without being detected. His hacking skills were at the Grandmaster level, which should place him in the top 10 in the world, meaning that almost no one in the world could invade this system without being detected. Soon Lin Chen copied the defense system onto a USB drive. Around 9 o'clock, Su Mengyao arrived at the company. She handed the USB drive given to her by Lin Chen to the company's network security supervisor, Director Li. There is a defense system in here, install this on the company server. The company's security supervisor coughed lightly and said, President, we are facing a very strong hacker attack, and ordinary defense systems are useless in the face of such attacks. And this may lead to leaks. Su Mengyao frowned and said, Do I not know this? Just do as I say. The security supervisor hurriedly nodded and said, "Okay, President." He quickly plugged in the USB drive and installed it. There was no change to the entire server. Director Li let out a sigh of relief. Although Su Mengyao was the company president, she was not an expert in the network, and the thing she brought might not be very strong. "President, if the enemy's attack strength is the same as yesterday, we can withstand it, but if the enemy is stronger, we need strong reinforcements," Director Li reminded. "Su Mengyao, this defense system should be able to withstand it. Just do your part well." Su Mengyao had blind trust in Lin Chen. An amateur is giving guidance to a professional. Manager Li thought to himself. Su Mengyao used to be very wise, but what's wrong with her today? He felt the need to reflect the situation to Su Guofeng. Chapter 236, This Hacker is the Sixth. Su Mengyao left, and Manager Li dialed Su Guofeng's phone. "President Su, just now the CEO asked me to install a file on the server, which she said was a defense system. I'm worried that the president might have been tricked. After all, the president doesn't know much about network security," Manager Li narrated. Su Guofeng's face showed surprise. "Manager Li, security is the most important thing. You did the right thing. Let me ask Mengyao and get back to you." Su Guofeng immediately called Su Mengyao. "You can't just install anything on the server. A fortress is easier to take down from the inside." "Mengyao, Manager Li just called me." Su Guofeng told him what had just happened. Su Mengyao said over the phone, "Dad, I'm not that confused. Your son-in-law wrote it." Su Guofeng was stunned. "Lin Chen wrote it? Lin Chen's internet technology level is also very high?" Su Mengyao said, "He said it was average." Su Guofeng laughed, "That's fine then. Lin Chen's average should be in the top few levels in the world. Anything less than the best in the world is just average to him." Su Mengyao giggled, "Dad, you know him very well." Su Guofeng, "Of course I do. His knowledge is just so-so, and that's about the level of it. I'll let Manager Li know later. He's in charge of this, so don't criticize him about this." After hanging up the phone, Su Guofeng quickly called Manager Li. "Manager Li, that defense system is real, and it should have pretty good defense capabilities. If there is another intrusion, don't panic, remain calm and respond with composure," Su Guofeng said in a deep voice. Manager Li let out a sigh of relief. "President Su, that's good." "President Su, I'm not questioning the president, I just don't need to explain, you are just doing your job. Just do your job well and don't think about anything else." "Okay, President Su." It was daytime in China, but it was dark somewhere abroad. Mitchell woke up. He usually slept during the day and worked at night. At night, he is more energetic. "Teacher, we have a mission for you. If you succeed, you will be rewarded with $1 million. Are you interested?" Logging into his computer, Mitchell saw a message. The message was sent to him by one of his apprentices. He has many apprentices online, and they are all quite skilled, but still quite inferior to him. The apprentices are very useful, as they can access more missions, and they are safe after taking action, which shows that the target's technical strength is average. $1 million? You actually received a task of this level? Mitchell replied. He was very surprised. His apprentices were much weaker than him, and the tasks they received were often of average difficulty and paid an average amount. This time, the reward of $1 million was not low. "Teacher, we were also lucky to receive this one. We tried to attack once, but we didn't succeed, but we also didn't have any problems. The target's defense ability is good, and its counterattack ability is average." The person who contacted Mitchell sent a message quickly. Mitchell pondered. The price of $1 million made him smell danger. He generally did not take high-priced jobs. But he had lost a lot at the casino the other day, and he was short of money recently. He needed to make more money. "Are you sure it's safe?" "Teacher, it should be safe. The other party is a regular company, and it's not one of those very strong internet companies. None of us have been in trouble. The mission information was sent, success. I want 70%. Mitchell still decided to act. As long as he doesn't run into one of the top 30 bosses, he should be able to escape without any problems. The top 30 bosses generally don't have time to deal with him. Many of those bosses serve a country or a top internet company. or a financial institution such as a bank. There are many places in the world that need top internet experts. China, the Su Group. Mitchell quickly conducted a survey. The Su Group has a lot of assets, but there are also many companies in China that are more powerful than the Su Group. There are only a few companies in the whole of China that I fear, and I don't think they're hiding in the Su Group. Mitchell mused. You guys go ahead. I'll strike when the time is right. Although he didn't think the problem was very serious, Mitchell still prudently told his apprentice to go first. If anything happens, I'll take the blame. He was 40 years old and had never been caught, and his prudence was inseparable. Good teacher. With you joining us, we're sure to succeed. Mitchell, the apprentice, and his men moved quickly. Undercurrents were surging on the internet towards the Su Group. Whoosh! Their attack immediately triggered the alarm system. The Su Group's network security department quickly put up resistance. Mitchell watched silently from the shadows. With his strength, as long as he didn't intervene, it would be difficult for someone more powerful than him to find him. The defensive capabilities are okay. They meet the network defense capabilities of a company of this level. Mitchell thought to himself. You guys retreat first. Mitchell sent a message to his apprentice. Retreat. His apprentice quickly retreated with his subordinates. Mitchell watched secretly and saw that no one was following them. Safe. Mitchell gave a faint smile. He sent a message to his apprentice to continue their actions. He secretly launched an invasion. Someone from the Su family said, Chief, why did they retreat and then charge back? I feel like something's not right. Another person said, I feel strange too. I suspect there's a 6th level expert in the shadows. The other side may be trying to test if we have any hidden experts. Chief Li looked grave. He said sternly, don't think too much. Do your best to absolutely not let the enemy break in. They all sped up their typing. The data on the computer in front of them refreshed rapidly. 5 minutes passed. Mitchell's face revealed a faint smile as he tapped in. Drip. Lin Chen's phone suddenly rang. The person calling him was an internet number. His phone was relatively special, and ordinary internet numbers could not call it. Lin Chen did not answer the call. There was no need to answer the call. As long as the number called, it meant someone had hacked into the Su Group. They had hacked in yesterday and were back again today. They really had some nerve. Lin Chen muttered to himself. Cici, why don't you do some exercises for a while? If you don't want to do them, you can play with your toys. Lin Chen kissed Lin Xiaoxi and said. Lin Xiaoxi nodded obediently, Daddy, I'll do the exercises. I think it's very interesting to do them, hee hee. Okay. Dad will come and check it for you later. Lin Chen quickly went to the study and turned on the computer. He had visited the Su Group server before, and now he entered the server with ease. Mitchell was still in his honeypot system. For the time being, Mitchell would not be able to discover that he had been fooled. Your strength is not bad. But in front of me, you are not good enough. Lin Chen muttered to himself. The strength of the intruder was only at the Grandmaster level, and his hacking skills were now at the Grandmaster level. Chapter 237 Husband, you're so fast? Lin Chen quickly reversed the intrusion. Mitchell was very cautious. He circled the globe a few times. If his strength was not much stronger than his, it would be difficult to find him in this situation. The honeypot system could deceive for a while, but Mitchell was still very strong. He could definitely tell that he had been tricked if he spent more time. Damn, this guy is really cunning. Lin Chen muttered in his heart. He had successively cracked 20 to 30 layers of jump boards, and he had used a variety of different techniques. Even if he was a Grandmaster level expert, if he didn't know one of these techniques very well, he would probably have alerted the enemy. For Lin Chen, there was no such problem. His hacking skills were at the Grandmaster level, and his knowledge in this area was also at the Grandmaster level in every aspect. I found you. A few minutes passed and Lin Chen's face revealed a smile. Mitchell had disguised his computer as a meat machine, and the tracker might have skipped over it if it had been followed, but Mitchell's trick did not fool Lin Chen. What's going on? Why do I feel a little bit wrong? Mitchell muttered to himself. Lin Chen's honeypot system was very good, but Mitchell was very skilled and extremely cautious. He keenly sensed something wrong. No. This money cannot be earned. Mitchell quickly erased the traces he had left behind. Lin Chen's face revealed a faint smile. While Mitchell was removing the traces, he thoroughly investigated Mitchell. He knew how much money was in Mitchell's bank card, his home address, and which relatives and friends Mitchell had. Lin Chen silently copied a copy of the information in Mitchell's computer. The things in his computer were enough for him to go to jail for the rest of his life. Mitchell was very cautious. He wouldn't touch tasks that involved millions or even tens of millions of US dollars, but he did take on quite a few tasks that involved hundreds of thousands of US dollars. The penalties for these tasks were also not light. Altogether, he would need to serve at least 200 years in prison. Phew! Erase all traces. Unplug the network cable. Mitchell let out a sigh of relief. No one should be able to trace him this way. No, this is still not safe. I need to go somewhere else. I'll go on a month-long trip to Africa, thought Mitchell to himself. He quickly packed his things and prepared to flee with his laptop. Bang! However, before Mitchell could finish packing, his door was kicked open and several policemen rushed in. Don't move! Hands off the computer, now! The policemen shouted at Mitchell, pointing their guns at him. It's over. Mitchell's face was a picture of despair. He knew exactly what was going on. He had definitely encountered a top expert, and the other party had long since found out that he had thoughtfully called the police for him. The police had simply kicked in the door, and the other party had probably already submitted some of his incriminating evidence to the police. Shit. He had been fine for more than 20 years, but he never expected to end up in trouble after all. If he had known, he would have never gone to China to stir up trouble. Mitchell's face was a terrible sight. He had caused trouble in China many times before without incident, but in recent years, with China's growing power, the risk of causing trouble in China had increased. China's cybersecurity department was now very powerful. He had been careful enough, but he still ended up sinking. Take him away. Mitchell was quickly handcuffed and taken away. Mitchell's apprentice was still attacking with his subordinates. He didn't know that Mitchell had already fallen. Lin Chen easily found out their identities. And he found a lot of incriminating evidence on their computers. However, Lin Chen did not find out that they were related to the Tianhe group. Zheng Qingshan and the others were not that stupid. Hiring hackers to attack is something that cannot be done openly, and they must definitely guard against being caught. Should I use hacking methods against the Tianhe group? This thought popped into Lin Chen's mind. But Lin Chen quickly dismissed the idea. With his strength, even if he did this, others might not be able to find evidence. It would be better to solve the problem using normal means. Hacking is a double-edged sword. It can indeed deal with the enemy quickly, but what would the others think of him if he did this? Even if others can't get evidence, they will still suspect. Who doesn't have a little secret? If he attacks using hacking methods, will the super rich and officials be wary of him? It's fine for him to target hackers in this way, but it's a bit too much to use it against the rest of the people. Forget it, I'll play with you slowly. Fighting with people is a lot of fun. Lin Chen muttered to himself. He shut down the computer and left the study. Lin Xiaoxi looked up at him and said earnestly, Dad, I don't know this problem, can you teach me? Lin Chen sat on the floor next to Lin Xiaoxi. He looked at the problem. Lin Xiaoxi had already done a 5th or 6th grade problem, and it was an Olympiad problem. Most 6th graders couldn't solve a problem like this. Cici, what don't you understand? Lin Chen asked. Lin Xiaoqian, Dad, this place. Soon Lin Chen explained it to Lin Xiaoqian, and Lin Xiaoqian suddenly understood, Dad, I understand. Dad, am I stupid? I can't do many of the questions. Lin Chen looked strange. At less than 3 years old, Lin Xiaoqian had almost finished 6th grade math. If Lin Xiaoqian was stupid, he had been a blockhead before. Cici, you are not stupid. When your father was as young as you are now, he was not as smart as you are. You will be very good in the future. Lin Chen kissed Lin Xiaoqian and smiled. MMM. Dad, I want to be as good as you. Lin Xiaoqian said seriously. Lin Chen, Cici, just now I gave you a similar problem. Okay. The Su group directly let out a sigh of relief. The enemy's attack was over. However, Director Li was a little surprised. The enemy's attack was not very sudden, and they retreated without a trace. He had no idea that an enemy had already infiltrated the server, but the enemy had entered the honeypot system set up by Lin Chen. And the enemy had already been caught at this moment. President, I have something to report to you. Director Li reported the situation today to Su Mengyao. After listening to the report, Su Mengyao said to Director Li, you have worked hard. Don't touch the system in the background, it should have played a significant role. Yes, President. Director Li exited. Su Mengyao dialed Lin Chen's number. Honey, the company's server just suffered another attack. After Su Mengyao finished speaking, Lin Chen chuckled lightly. I have already found the enemy in this wave and informed the local police. They will go to jail. Su Mengyao's eyes revealed surprise. Honey, you were so fast? Lin Chen, honey, you're saying that. You'll find out in the future, your husband is definitely not fast. Su Mengyao. She said coquettishly, honey, you still want to drive on a broken road. Lin Chen smiled and said, calm down, your husband's driving skills are much better than hacking skills. Chapter 238, Death of Song Laosher of the Song family. Time passed quickly and it was afternoon. Tian Lang obtained some information. The top hacker Mitchell had been arrested. He also revealed that he had been targeted when attacking a company in Huaguo. Mitchell also said that the Huaguo National Army had made rapid progress and would likely pose a threat to the rest of the world. Oof. Tian Lang snorted. Wolf Team, this guy is saying this on purpose. He said that our country is powerful in the hope that someone will bail him out. After all, his hacking skills are still quite good. A person next to him said. Which companies in the country have suffered powerful attacks? Tian Lang asked. Wolf Team, it's all here. Another person quickly sent the information to the big screen. Huaguo suffers a large number of cyber attacks every day. These attacks are classified. Those that can be transmitted to them are all level 1 and 2 cyber attacks. There are also special and catastrophic levels. But such levels of cyber attacks are very rare. In the past, there were quite a few special cyber attacks, several times a year. Nowadays, the strength of the Huaguo country is incomparable to the past. It is rare to encounter a special level in a year. Ha! Tian Lang's gaze fell on one of the names. Su Group. When did Su Group experience a level 2 cyber attack? Wolf asked. The man who displayed the information said, Wolf Team, the Su Group was hit by a second-level cyber attack yesterday, and again today. They successfully defended against the attack. The Su Group's cyber defense capabilities are not bad. Wolf's eyes narrowed slightly. Mitchell was arrested today, could there be a connection between the two? Wolf arrived at his office. DD. Wolf quickly dialed Lin Chen's phone. Mr. Lin, are your network skills very good? Tian Lang asked. Lin Chen did not hide it, and he laughed lightly. No, it's pretty good, just so-so. Tian Lang, aren't you a wolf? Is the wolf's nose also so sensitive? Tian Lang. Mr. Lin, you'd better hide this ability. Externally, we will say that it is the credit of our national cyber police. If a hostile country knows your cyber strength, it will have one more reason to completely eradicate you. Tian Lang said with a grave expression. Top hackers are feared by all countries. When they go crazy, they can cause a lot of damage. Understood. I don't usually use this ability at all. If it wasn't for the powerful hacker attacking me this time, I wouldn't have stepped in. Lin Chen said indifferently. Mitchell was indeed arrested because of you. He has committed many crimes in our country before, it's a pity, it would have been better if someone from our country had arrested him. Tian Lang said with some regret. Lin Chen, I had thought about threatening him and asking him to come to our country, but I didn't want to cause any more trouble. If I hadn't reported it to the police directly, he would have probably run away. There wasn't much surveillance near where he was. It would have been difficult to find him if he escaped. Tian Lang said, I'm just a little disappointed. You were right to report it directly to the police and let the local police catch him. He should be tried. Mr. Lin, you have strengthened the defenses of the Su Group? Lin Chen, I've just set up a honeypot. Tian Lang, the country's top talent in this field, is probably no weaker than me. Don't even think about taking over from me. I'm just protecting the Su Group. Tian Lang on the other end of the phone said, Mr. Lin, that's great. If anyone asks, just tell them the same thing. Don't get burned. We're under a lot of pressure with security. After a few more words, Lin Chen hung up. Lin Xiaoqian was taking a nap, while Lin Chen was tapping away at the keyboard, designing the drone he wanted. His requirements for the drone's quality were much higher than those of ordinary civilian products, and its anti-interference capabilities, battery life, and other aspects had to be stronger than those of civilian products of the same class. Lin Chen was now a master of aircraft manufacturing, and at this level, he knew everything about both the technology that had already been released and the technology that had not yet been released. After 2 hours of hard work, Lin Chen gave a faint smile. It's done. His mind is full of information, and he can design in 2 hours without any problem as long as he can output it. Lin Chen has detailed specifications for every component of the drone, down to the materials to be used. Honey, I've sent you the drone design. Hurry up and have it manufactured. Lin Chen sent the design information to Su Mengyao. Su Mengyao, honey, I'll arrange it right away. As long as the materials are available, it should take no more than 3 days to manufacture 1,000 drones. If the company's assembly line is in full production, it can be done in a day. But Lin Chen designed this himself, so they need a little more time. My requirements are a little high, but they are all practical, and I should be able to find parts suppliers. Lin Chen sent a message. That's good, if it's fast, it can be done in 2 days. Su Mengyao said. Lin Xiaoqian pushed open the study door. Dad, you really are here, do you still have to work? Lin Chen picked up Lin Xiaoqian and said affectionately, Daddy is not going to work anymore, I'll continue to massage you. Lin Xiaoqian still had a bump on her head, but it was smaller. Daddy, I'll kiss you. Lin Xiaoqian kissed Lin Chen on the cheek. Lin Chen carried Lin Xiaoqian to the living room and sat on the sofa to continue massaging her. Every morning, afternoon, and evening, he gave her a massage. Lin Xiaoqian has recovered well. His experience in ancient Chinese medicine has skyrocketed. After the massage, Lin Chen thought to himself, System, how many hours of experience have I gained in ancient medical skills? The system said, Host, currently 45 hours. Lin Chen gave a faint smile. He has gained a lot of experience in ancient medical skills in the past 2 days. Lin Xiaoqian should be fine tomorrow, and he can still gain more experience, so the possibility of gaining more than 50 hours is quite high. Ancient medical techniques are getting closer to the Grandmaster. Drip. Lin Chen's phone suddenly rang. It was Song Qingxuan calling. Lin Chen answered the call, and on the other end of the line, Song Qingxuan said sadly, Lin, my father, he's gone. Lin Chen was stunned. He couldn't believe it and said, Brother Song Lao is dead? Although he didn't have much longevity left, he should have lived at least another half month, so how could he have died now? Song Qingxuan was stunned on the other end of the line. Lin, you know that my father doesn't have much longer to live? Lin Chen, well. I checked Song Laosher's pulse. I took his pulse on his birthday, and there should be about 20 days left. It's only been a week, so why is this happening? Song Qingxuan said bitterly, maybe this is the impermanence of life. My father hasn't divided up the family assets yet, and now that he's gone, there may be changes in our Song family. I'm letting you know in advance. Lin Chen sighed lightly, it's a trivial matter to affect me. Brother Song, please be saddened. Song Qingxuan, well, Lin, I'll hang up first, I still need to inform some other people of this news. Okay. Song Qingxuan hung up the phone. Lin Chen frowned secretly, Song Lao actually passed away so early. System, is this normal? Lin Chen asked in his mind. System, host, you have to judge this yourself. Judge it myself. Then I don't think it's normal. Lin Chen muttered. The result of his examination clearly showed that old Song could still live for another 20-odd days, so why did he leave in just a week or so? Chapter 239, System Space Increased. Song Family. Song Shiais, Song Shikang, and Song Qingxuan, the 3 brothers, have all returned, and many of the rest of the Song family have also rushed over. Old Song is lying quietly in bed. He has already passed away. Dad, why did you have to go like this? Dad. Song Shikang's wife enters the room and bursts into tears. Song Shiais frown inwardly. Who is she crying for? She was the most unfilial daughter-in-law when her father was alive. Eldest brother, I have something I want to say. Song Shikang said in a deep voice. Speak. Song Shiais nodded. Song Shikang, Dad was quite well the other day. How come he suddenly collapsed after such a short time? You were at home more often. Did Dad show any abnormalities recently? Song Shiais frowned. I was busy today and wasn't at home. Brother, let's ask the nanny and the doctor at home? Song Shirkang asked. Soon, several nannies were called over, as were 2 private doctors. They were all apprehensive, as the Song family was a giant to them. Will the death of the old Song not hold them responsible? Song Shiais, you describe in detail what happened to Dad today. You must mention any doubts. Yes. The nanny and the private doctors said in unison. They spoke carefully, saying that in the morning everything was normal, and that in the morning, Mr. Song had even played some Tai Chi. At noon, the old master did not eat the food we made, he ate the food that Miss Warner had someone deliver. The old master was very happy to eat. A woman who was the nanny and cook spoke up. Song Shirkang hurriedly said, What did you say? At noon, what my father ate was delivered from outside. The woman's face turned pale with anxiety and she said, Yes, we persuaded the old master, but the old master insisted on eating it. Miss Wan had someone deliver the food, and we didn't think there would be a problem. Song Qingxuan's face fell. Third brother, what's going on? Isn't Wan not in contact with the outside world? Why did she suddenly send food to Dad at this time? Song Shirkang said doubtfully, Don't get me wrong, I'm not questioning her, and Dad's accident may not be because of this. I just want to understand the situation. Song Qingxuan took out his phone. He dialed his daughter Song Wan's number. He had a house in the capital, and Song Wan lived there, not in the Song family mansion. Song Wan still didn't know that her grandfather had suddenly passed away. Wanner, did you send Grandpa some food? Song Qingxuan asked. Song Wan said, Dad, I sent him a meal. Grandpa was very good to me, so I wanted to share something delicious with him. Dad, does Grandpa still want to eat? Should I send him another one or two? Song Qingxuan was silent for a while and then said, Wanner, Grandpa is gone, he has left us forever. Pack your things and go out, someone will come and take you over. Song Wan was stunned on the other end of the phone. Her grandfather had just passed away? No, that's impossible. Grandpa was fine the other day, why did he suddenly? Song Wan's face turned pale. Could it be that Grandpa ate the dish she sent, and that her dish was not suitable for her grandfather? Wanner, don't think so much. Come over first. Song Qingxuan hung up after saying that. Third brother, go make a phone call and ask. Song Shiais said to Song Qingxuan. Song Qingxuan knew what Song Shiais meant. Song Shiais wanted him to ask Lin Chen if that dish would have an impact. Song Shirkang said, Big brother, third brother, is there anything I don't know? Just make the call here. Let's all listen in. Song Qingxuan was going to go somewhere else to make the call, but after hearing Song Shirkang say that, he dialed Lin Chen's number here. Lin Xiao, is this a convenient time to talk? Lin Chen told Lin Xiaoxi to play by herself for a while. He went into the study. Song Qingxuan didn't even call him brother anymore, which meant there was something going on. He could hear that there were quite a few people with Song Qingxuan. Song Qingxuan, go ahead. Song Qingxuan said, Lin Xiao, Wanner had someone send a dish you made to my father. My father ate it at lunch. Will this have any effect? Lin Chen, no, absolutely not. If it would have an effect, I would definitely have told you guys in advance. Song Zong, I'm coming over. Can you leave Song Lao alone until I get here? Song Qingxuan looked at Song Shiais. He turned on the speakerphone and Song Shiais heard what Lin Chen said. Song Shiais said, Lin Xiao, this is Song Shiais. I promise I won't touch my father's body until you get here. But it's hot, so we have to put my father's body in an ice coffin. Lin Chen, no problem with that. After hanging up the phone, Lin Chen muttered to himself, Song Wan let Song Qingxuan get involved, and I let me get involved. In addition, as the head of the family, Song Shiais failed in his duty to take care of Song Lao after his sudden death. 3 birds with 1 stone. Lin Chen arrived in the living room and shouted, Shishi, don't do that for now, come help your father pack the suitcase, I'll take you on a plane ride. Dad is taking you on a long trip. Lin Xiaoqian's forehead was still bruised from the previous incident, but he was able to gain a lot of experience in ancient medical techniques by massaging her. Time was running out, and there was no time to send her to her grandparents' house. Song Laoren was dead, and his body was still there. Great! Lin Xiaoqian ran cheerfully towards Lin Chen. Lin Chen took out the suitcase. He was cleaning up the things he wanted to bring for Lin Xiaoqian. There were quite a few things for a child to bring when going out, and he didn't know how many days this trip would last. 5 minutes passed. The system voice sounded in Lin Chen's head. Host, Lin Xiaoqian helped you organize the suitcase, and the system space has increased. The system space has been upgraded to 2,000 cubic meters. Lin Chen froze for a moment. System, what is the rule for this increase? System, host, system space is increased not according to time but by increments of 1,000 cubic units each time. There are 1 to 3 opportunities for increase each year. If you deliberately do something, you will not get such an opportunity. Lin Chen realized that his system space had increased. His system space had doubled, which was awesome. 1,000 cubic units was not small, and now it was 2,000 cubic units. In the future, his system space could become even bigger. System space was his trump card. His various skills, including the secret Tai Chi method, are actually not too rebellious, but the system space is the most rebellious. It is precisely because he knows the importance of this and that it will have serious consequences that Lin Chen has not used it much. Once or 3 times a year, on average twice, the system space can reach tens of thousands of cubic meters in 5 years. Lin Chen was secretly amazed. It is easy to install 100,000 small drones in 10,000 cubic meters. If they are all released, they will cover the sky. Dad, aren't Mom and I going with you? Lin Xiaoxi asked in a baby voice. Lin Chen squatted down and sorted things out. Mom is busy. Xiaoxi, what toys do you want to bring? Hurry up and get them. We have to hurry and pack and leave. Lin Xiaoxi quickly ran to get the toys. Lin Chen dialed Su Mengyao phone. Honey, I'm taking Xiaoxi to the imperial capital. Old Song suddenly died. Ha? Su Mengyao was taken aback at the other end of the line. Honey, someone has to go pay their respects when Song passes away, but does it have to be so urgent? Lin Chen, before he died, Song ate the dish I made. Song Wan asked someone to give it to him. Su Mengyao's face changed. Honey, I feel like there's something wrong with this. Lin Chen said, if you feel something is wrong, then there is most likely something wrong with this matter. I can't talk to you now, we need to leave immediately. As soon as Lin Chen hung up, his phone rang again. It was a strange number. Fraudulent calls could never get through to his phone, so Lin Chen answered it. Someone on the other end of the line said, Mr. Lin, I am Song's lawyer, I need to see you. Song had left a will. Chapter 240, Song's will. Lin Chen was puzzled. Song's will is for me? The lawyer on the other end of the phone said, Mr. Lin, the will is not just for you, but Song said that if he died within half a month, you would be the first to see the will. Song made the will 3 days ago. The will is sealed and I don't know the contents. Song told me your mobile phone number. Lin Chen pondered, he was involved, and Song Lao's will should be a bargaining chip for him. I'll come to the imperial capital immediately. Okay, Mr. Lin, please come to Tianding Law Firm. Okay. Lin Chen hung up the phone and quickly set off with Lin Xiaoxi. Su Mengyao sent a message saying that she had applied for a temporary flight route, and her private jet could take Lin Chen and the others to the imperial capital. Even if a private plane breaks down, as long as it is not flying over the sea, there will basically be no major problems. After all, private planes have plenty of parachutes. Attack the plane? If it is flying to a remote area like Xinjiang, this kind of situation cannot be ruled out, but in the busy airspace in the east, this kind of situation basically will not occur. Lin Chen and the others rushed to the airport. The plane took off quickly. In the system space, I will have to prepare more supplies in the future. For example, parachutes and various survival supplies. Lin Chen thought to himself. There will definitely be times in the future when he travels abroad. If the plane has an emergency landing over the ocean, he needs to ensure that he can survive after jumping out of the plane. The food in the system space can be stored for a long time, so he definitely needs to stock up on food. If he were to fall into the ocean, he would also need a boat. The system space now has 2,000 cubic meters, and a yacht about 20 meters long is not very large. I have only designed small drones, and I will have to get a few large man-flying machines as well. There will also be a lot of fuel, batteries, and other supplies in the system space. Lin Chen thought carefully. He had to prepare for the worst. For example, if their plane crashed in the depths of the ocean in the future, and they were completely unable to contact the outside world. All kinds of supplies should be able to support them for 3 to 5 years. Dad, what are you thinking about? You're frowning, let me help you. Lin Xiaoxi used her 2 small hands to touch Lin Chen's eyes. Lin Chen came back to his senses, kissed Lin Xiaoxi, and said with a smile, "Daddy is thinking about something." "Don't worry, Daddy is fine, you know. Daddy is Superman, right?" "Hmm. Daddy is the best," Lin Xiaoxi said with a smile. Lin Chen smiled and said, "See, the plane is climbing now, so we can't play anything else. Daddy will continue to give you math problems, and you can answer them orally." Hmm. Lin Xiaoqian nodded. She had a keen interest in math. On the way to the airport, Lin Chen sang with her for a while, and for most of the rest of the time, Lin Chen drove while giving her some math problems to do. His mathematical skills have been at the Grandmaster level for quite some time. Although they are still at the Grandmaster level now, his level has increased a lot compared to when he first rose to it. If ranked globally, he would definitely be able to make the top 3. Su family. Su Guofeng called Su Mengyao. "Mengyao, I just got the news that Song Lao passed away," Su Guofeng said with a solemn expression. "He was just in a meeting with some people and got the news after the meeting." Su Mengyao said, "Dad, I also heard the news. My husband has already taken Shishi to the imperial capital." Su Guofeng was puzzled. "He's gone already?" Su Mengyao's eyes revealed hesitation. In the end, she couldn't help but say, "Dad, Lin Chen messaged me to tell me not to tell you for the time being, so as not to make you worry, but I'm very worried about him." Su Guofeng said, "They took a plane?" "Don't worry, even if there's a malfunction, Lin Chen can still make Shishi jump out of a plane." "Dad, that's not it. Song Wan had someone deliver a dish to the old Song," Su Mengyao said. Su Guofeng's face changed. "Didn't the old Song pass away not long after eating?" "Yes." Su Guofeng anxiously said, "Why didn't you say so earlier? This matter is not simple. If I knew earlier, I could have helped think of a solution together earlier. Lin Chen just didn't want you to worry. You probably wouldn't be able to do anything about this at home," Su Mengyao said. Su Guofeng's brows furrowed. The Su family is considered quite powerful, but he really couldn't think of a good solution to this matter. The Song family is much more powerful than the Su family. "Dad, Lin Chen will handle it." If he didn't have confidence, he wouldn't have taken Shishi there, Su Mengyao said. Su Guofeng let out a sigh of relief. That's true. If Lin Chen felt that the situation was dangerous, even if he was anxious, he would definitely have to send Lin Xiaoxi to their place. 2 hours passed and the plane landed safely. Tian Lang had arranged for someone to come and pick him up, and there were 2 people in the car, and 9 times out of 10 they were carrying weapons. "Mr. Lin, where are we going?" the man sitting in the passenger seat asked. They had introduced themselves. The man was called Lu Feng, and the one driving was a young man with a crew cut named Cheng Xiaojun. "Lin Chen, first go to Tianding Law Firm. On the premise of ensuring safety, the speed can be slightly faster." "Okay." Cheng Xiaojun nodded. There wasn't much traffic on the highway at this time, so Cheng Xiaojun increased the speed to about 150. This speed was naturally speeding, but this car was registered, and speeding was allowed in special circumstances. Tianding Law Firm is on the way from the airport to the Song family's home, and after half an hour or so, Lin Chen and the others arrived. "Mr. Lin, Old Song's will is sealed, and according to what Old Song said, the will not have legal effect for less than half a month. We have 24-hour high-definition surveillance here, and no one has had any contact with it since it was sealed." A middle-aged man in his 40s or 50s said to Lin Chen. "HM. Take it out. And give me a copy of the relevant surveillance data." Lin Chen said. "Okay." Under the joint witness of several people, the lawyer took out the will, which was in a metal box. A seal was affixed to the top of the box. As long as the box was opened, the seal would be broken. Take note of the recording. But for the time being, don't film the contents of the will. Lin Chandao. Okay. The lawyer nodded, and some of them filmed the record, and the 2 people from the National Security also had a filming record. The other one hugged Lin Xiaoxi. Lin Chandao tore off the seal, he opened the box, and inside the box was a white envelope. Inside the envelope, naturally, was the will left by Song Lao. Lin Chandao took out the letter inside. "Lin Chandao Xiaoyu, I'm sorry to make you laugh. The fact that you can read this means that I died too soon. I believe in your medical skills, so there must have been something wrong with my death. The Song family has a total of about 300 billion yuan in assets at home and abroad, of which about 60% is still in my hands. Half of this 60% goes to you, and you can distribute the remaining 55% according to the performance of Shiais and the others. After reading the letter, Lin Chen was a little incredulous. Old Song actually made this arrangement. Half of 300 billion is also 15 billion, which is really a generous offer. Lin Chen was full of emotion. Old Song even let him distribute the assets he left behind. This trust is heavy.